I see a people. Anyhow, what up, fam? Then we got Albert Bird up in here. Bam! We got Royalty Simpson here. Bam! All right. So I guess we'll be here in a second. Um, I'm so dang lazy. I don't need to put my announcements out anymore. Put that out there. You know. Let's see. All right. So. All right. Anyhow, we're about to get started here. This is going to be a two-part thing here. Let's see. Man, there's always some kind of conflict here. Go ahead and send a picture here. Let's say, yeah, because I'll be missing out. Yeah, man. Let me send this stuff out. It's weird because even when I try to go on live, damn near everybody has to give me a call. And I'm like, dude, it's like that conflicting of scheduling or what have you, or timing type thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and send this stuff out to the peoples. You know, 'cause I'm quite sure I don't think I got the bail. I don't have the bail. Let's see here. Okay. Send all this stuff here. Yeah, this is mainly a continuation of our millennial conversation. I think that this conversation has to be told, or the information has to be told, because what I was really thinking about as far as the entertainment industry, on how the entertainment industry kind of preys on the people that do go through these situations where their manhood is questioned. And the entertainment industry seems like they have all the answers for them to go into that secret room or what have you. We got something better for you than what you've been told. And I mean, when you start talking to people that actually has been through that, it's like, damn, really? So I'm trying to make some sense of it, and at the same time, get people to see that people are not making this stuff up. I mean, this stuff is really happening. They're just not going to go in a public forum like Corey Feldman and all these people. Sometimes they just don't even want. Some people just don't even talk about it. They don't want to think about it in their mind. That's probably why a lot of people are on drugs and doing all these different things just to try to cope. So I'm just trying to, get some of this information out there. Everybody has different ways on how they cope with these things, but in the meantime, this is some big stuff, y'all. Um, and I don't know if people were laughing or or the whole antidotal man up. This things happen. I'm like, man, think about prison life. People get these different things happen in prison, and these brothers can't even talk about it. Or either that, or they might just get caught up in here. Uh, we got okay, we got 7 Project in here. Bam, what's up, fam? And we got Cool Gents up in here. Bam, Cool Gen 87. Good to see you. Yeah, so, and then just keep in mind, our guest is a father. So he has some things he's taking care of, but he'll be here in a second. I only had one person stand me up, so that's not too bad for my record. Right? Let's see. Let me start throwing my stuff here. So let's see. So keep that in mind, that these things are important. And then you already know these. I'm up here trying out this new technology here. Technology. And I think the second part that he's going to do, he's going to oh, brother Danubian. Assalamu alaikum, fam. Bam. Got you, man. Got you, fam. The second part, he's gonna be drawing. He's gonna draw an actual picture while we're talking, because he was one of my advanced students, y'all. Did y'all believe that? So before you get on, you know what? Okay, so if some of you guys saw, oh, there he is, Jason Green. Bam. I'm gonna talk bad about him before I get here. I did not know that he was a clown or a crump dancer. I never thought of that. He was in my step team and everything. He had rhythm. He's very creative. He was always taking stuff and making things out of nothing. He was like the MacGyver of artistry, right? I mean, he was always trying to be very expressive. Girls are always in his face. He was, it was a trip, and he pretty much gravitated toward me towards the end of his high school career. I showed him as much as I could, you know. But there were some other people that was in that movie too. I think it was Kyotis, and it was two or three other people that I had in my class, and that's the thing too, is that the area that the school where he was going to was considered blood territory. It was considered very dangerous at that time. Um, no matter what, you did, I mean, no matter where you went, you were always in those territories. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about him before you get here. Right. But yeah, we had nicknames for him. I'm gonna see if you remember my nickname I gave. I probably gave him like 2 or 3 nicknames. Right. It was hilarious. Hold on, y'all. Right. Yeah, it was hilarious. But that whole area, man, it's just amazing. I don't know, that blood territory, very strict as far as what you wear, where you from, you know, that kind of, I mean, word really, if you look suspect, word gets out like, I don't know, what, an hour? And all of a sudden people start passing by, and you find yourself beaten up in the corner somewhere. They really had it. I don't know. I mean, I'm just a teacher just watching, but I'm like, damn, this is like some I Spy or, it was kind of crazy. And he grew up in that area. I mean, he grew up in that environment. So he managed to maintain his artistic abilities in that. So my room was the place where you can really come play some dominoes. Yeah, he was part of it. We had a nickname called the Society. I don't know why. Yeah, Sister George up in here. Bam! What's going on, sis? But we had a lot of the people come in my room, and just I have music playing. I mean, like old music. I was not playing that garbage that people were listening to even then. And so, um, yeah, yeah, that was the thing. So when you come in my room, it was like neutral territory, right? So, and I had, and it's crazy because I have the students coming in very cooperative, very kind, very, you know, what's that word? Having a lot like manners and everything, right? But you know, I didn't realize how dangerous they were when, when I started hearing about them, like afterwards. So usually my whole response was, he did what? He shot who? You know, he's in what prison? It was usually that, but it's crazy. You know how they have these people on the news. To 90% of music. Oh, that's right. You must have been in my class, brother Nubian. 90, a lot of stuff on the news. It just shows you, usually the little helicopters and the cop cars and the little yellow tape and all that kind of stuff. But when you're in the classroom, it's I don't know, man. I got some footage. I'm gonna find I have some old footage of some of these people when they were younger. I mean, literally, I'm walking into the school and there was a guy that everybody was going after. I had a conversation with the guy in front of the campus and it was like casual. Now all of a sudden, I'm leaving this guy and I saw like a line of, well, not a line like close, but they were like coming from out of nowhere. A lot of these were my students, and they're like, excuse me, excuse me, they were like very, 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 very kind. Like, excuse me, let me get through here. Excuse me, how you doing? Okay, excuse me, all that kind of stuff. Like a lot of them passed by, hey, what's going on? And all of a sudden, I turned around, they were boot stopping this dude on the ground. It was like a reverse Rodney King type thing. So it was a trip because they were like making sure they would handle me with kid gloves to get to this other guy to kick his butt. Okay. So that is the weird thing, man. BMT was mentioning how it's kind of hard for him to understand why black folks really have it out for each other so hard, so tough, you know. So my whole thing was hmm, it's kind of weird. But what we're going to talk about mainly is, I mean, the question. I mean, I'm just going to revisit some of the questions that we had about the whole Manning SHIT and how that affect your your ability to grow up to be a man, and considering where you're hearing it from, right? I really want to, because this brother here, he had the most extreme case when he gave his answer. And I remember him going through some things when he was much younger, but I didn't realize the effect that it had on him, because once people graduate, you don't really see much of them after that. And so I was thinking about the industry, how they're looking for kids that had trauma, that had some kind of abuse, that had some kind of, violation about their growth. You know how these pedos come around and tell these kids, let's keep this between me and you, and let's this is our little secret, that kind of stuff. So um he's going to share some of that stuff for the first half. And ladies and gentlemen, we have the none other than Jason Green, the dragon.
What's going on, Art? I hope everybody's doing well. Top of the morning, everybody. I don't know if you guys can hear me well. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can everybody, if everybody can hear him, press one, please, to make sure. Brother Danubian is still going into the music. Oh man! So I hope you heard some of my commentary of some of your upbringings. Do you remember the nickname I gave you?
Oh my God, taco meat.
You remember?
Yeah, ain't nothing.
Dang! How many years?
I
That
said
was what, 99,
90, actually 98. Because remember,
98.
I was there with you for 3 years, 2 or 3 years. Taco meat. Nobody knows I had a curly top, so you can't. That'll ruin my crump career. I'm gonna get jokes at the church, everything, wrestling, all of it.
Wow, man. We should have invited Cookie Dough up in here too, man. That would have been nice to get him up here. He was the big guy in Rise for those people that you know, that didn't understand. That didn't know all the names of the people in the movie. So,
Oh
but
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna get you and thank you guys for giving a one. And what you can do is hit the likes on the way in, and just to remind you people that the questions are set for the guest. So people want to hop in. We probably hop in later if y'all want, but we just want to make sure we get this stuff out. And also we got the Cash App information as well. Oh wow! So brothers, so let's go into a little bit of just a little bit of your background, stuff that we're allowed to know about. Okay.
Oh,
All right.
no worries.
So mainly, you from I was describing your area. That was considered a heavy saturated blood territory, correct?
Oh yeah,
Blood
blood gang
gangs.
to the fullest. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was very cluttered. Everything was close to each other.
It's about maybe like five plus different blood, blood sets, and then there was the cryptids were just around the canal. So I actually stayed in the cryptid and went to school in the blood neighborhood.
Man, that's deep, you know. And back then, would you say that was way more dangerous then than now?
Yeah, yeah. Because I think like the gang banging back then, when people were a little more serious, they were really like from where they were from or whatever. Um, so then you had, to me, you had more shootings, and people just pull up on you, and you either had to get down or run. Um, Now it's just they weigh maybe like 113. It's like what you
Hmm.
gonna do. So it's more so to me more so studio gangsters now.
Oh, um, now the other thing too is like in your area, I mean, did you know a lot of people that had their fathers in their homes?
I knew Roy Briggs
Oh,
one.
oh, he had pops. Okay. What about the Douglases?
Well, not in the home,
Oh,
but
okay.
he was in their life. So one, two, Mark Rivero, um, two. Dang. Now that you asked that, no, maybe on one hand, yeah,
So you were saying that, so you didn't hear too many situations where the father was in a home in your area,
no, no,
but it
very
was
few.
heavily saturated in blood culture, blood gang culture.
And the ones I did know that have fathers, a lot of those people's fathers banged.
Wow.
They were, their father's little homie. Kind of the same concept that we used in Crump for mentorship is the same kind of concept, but it was just to mentor and steer people in the right direction. So that was uh, the original, I guess you could say, context for what we were doing to solve. At least for a lot of us, some people, to them it was just like we were just dancing. Uh, but me, I saw, being an artist and being open minded and having some, I guess you would say, intelligence. I could read into what we were developing and what we were supposed to do, and and so we kind of just began to mentor and fill the gaps of those that didn't have fathers. And we, even though we were kind of, maybe 2 years, maybe a year, what I mean? Some of us, our age difference was not that far. We were being father figures, and even still to this day, father figures to those that didn't have them.
So now, looking at that whole thing, would you say that these guys that didn't have fathers in their home look to the blood gangs as as father figures?
Oh, for sure, for sure, for sure. Like big time. And it became something that just like with a with this desperation to be validated. That's why they're killing each other and robbing is for clout, is for validation, is for affirmation. Um, um, you know what I mean? So a lot of them, it's like I tell people that like that becomes when you deprive a young man of that becomes like a drug for his existence. So everything that he does, um, in a sense, it's geared towards receiving that affirmation. Receiving that validation, receiving that pat on the back. And so that's why we have a lot of people that just do things that are just totally against their morals and principles, is because they had a need for validation. That a serious need for validation, and by the time they thought about it or wanted to come to some type of repentance for what they did, it was too late. They've already, you know what I mean? They've already done the deed, no matter what it was.
Yeah. So would you say that once these guys, found some kind of refuge in some of these gangs, you know, was this their only way to really understand how manhood should be?
Um,
Or was there some other sources?
I mean, there are some different sources. Like you had a lot of them, if they were involved, like I saw a lot of them, if they were involved in some type of extracurricular activity like football, basketball, track,
Hmm.
it gave them a positive camaraderie, like a tribal, camaraderie within sports, and then friends that, and then those coaches also had a responsibility, to kind of steer them. So you had like coaches, or it gave them some type of outlet. And where we come from, there wasn't a lot of outlets.
Now, the reason why I'm kind of putting that out there as far as the manhood part is because half the time when you don't have your fathers, it's kind of hard for you to decide things on your own without having some kind of guidance, correct?
Correct, correct.
So the only thing you do have is what your coach,
You had your
maybe a
coach.
teacher, your barber,
Yeah,
but
I
you
had
also.
uh, I had when I played football at the 10. I had you. Um, when I did track, I had a track coach. Um, I had you because of art, and one of the things that happens is like I think with young males trying to find a mentor or a father figure, uh, having an older male figure that is interested in the same thing, there's a disconnect with fathering or positive role models where whoever they look up to is not interested in what they want to do, so they become interested in what the mentor wants to do. So if the mentor is a criminal, you know what I mean, they're gonna follow because they want validation. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Now, the thing that I was noticing on that one question about hearing certain things to make you feel bad about, I guess, being a man. The whole black
hmm
man ain't shit. I think a lot of
hmm
us heard him in different various forms. Some of us are no like some of us are like our no good daddy or whatever it is. And you explained how it made you feel, and then also you
hmm
even explained some of the pathways that directed you to different things. So, would you be able to elaborate a little bit more and basically, like for example, how often have you heard those kind of sentiments from either your mom, aunt, grandma, just women in general when you were growing up?
I mean, you would hear, and like indirectly, it was never said directly to me. I was never told I wasn't. I was always encouraged, affirmed, built up by my mother, but I saw how the men that came in and out of my family members' lives. Our family is mostly matriarchal, um, like 98%.
Damn.
Yeah, 98%. Yeah, most of the father figures were absent. Most of the fathers were either in jail or on cocaine, um, and none of them led. So, if there was a male, they were staying with the females in the female's home. If you understand what I'm saying.
Right. The,
So,
the females are the leaders in the home.
yeah, females are leaders. So as a young man growing up who is staying with his mother, his mother's taking care of him. Um, subconsciously, women take care of men. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I hated it because within me, I knew something was definitely wrong with that. Even younger, it just really bothered me, and and so I didn't see men stepping up to the plate. I didn't see men taking the lead, and then so I would just hear how men, or I would see how men kind of did my family members wrong, and I was like being like that was the a present male. I would get into fights with adult men, beating up on people's boyfriends and threatening them. Um, beat up on some dudes that some gangbangers that was from front hood that tried to, just talk crazy to my mom. I had a hot head. Um, you wouldn't know it. No, you probably didn't know that, but you know what I mean. I was just real calm
Yeah.
until you did something to um, one of the females in my family, and then I'm a total different person. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember, because back then, a lot of us, well, some of us like take some of you guys home,
Hmm.
and when we had activities after school, it was dark. I just wasn't having you guys walking home like dark.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I remember that I used to take you, Mark, everybody home and stuff like that. And some places were like, "Damn, why you live here?" This kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember when you were, I think one time something happened between you and your mom, probably, and I
Hmm.
think we had to wait outside for damn near an hour.
Yeah.
Um, are you allowed? I mean, do you feel comfortable? Because I think it was something that
Oh
really
yeah.
happened
No, we can
pretty
we
bad.
can talk. No, we can talk.
Okay. And I don't know if you were scared to go back home or it was something that happened. And I
Right.
was like, dang, man, I just chill. Bachelor at the time, so nobody was really waiting on me. So,
Yeah.
so the thing was, I was like, wow, because you did tell me some things that were like pretty bad that was going on.
Yeah.
And would you be able to elaborate on some of those things, like just some things that you want us to know?
Yeah. Yeah. No. 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 No worries. So, what was going on at the time is my mother was battling with substance abuse, cocaine addiction, and during that time, I was kind of I was the oldest male. I had responsibilities and things like that. So I was actually taking care of my brothers and sisters and kind of keeping the family out of what was going on. Um, and so what ended up happening, I believe, you know, she was supposed to, because I was actually homeless. I don't think you ever found that out. I know, this is probably the first time hearing it. So I was homeless. We were homeless for a lot of my senior year, I believe it was.
Hmm.
Um, we were homeless. So that was a real rough time. So what's happened is I was supposed to meet her. I was actually staying with somebody at the time, basically like crashing on somebody's couch, and I was just trying to keep the family secure, keeping everybody out of what was going on, so they didn't know.
Hmm.
And I think yeah, she just didn't show up like she was supposed to, so it ended up being the situation.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
Yeah. So that's waiting outside. We were actually probably at somebody else's house. I remember. Yeah, we were at someone else's house, and we gotta we got to make the story look like, so I had to make it look like everything was cool and this was our house. So I don't think you ever find out where I lived.
Yeah, that was crazy. I remember I forgot who it was. I had to go into the Nickerson Gardens and I had to do the same. I had to wait there as well at night. And everybody kept looking in my car. And I'm like, why are they looking in my car? I said, you good, man? They know me. I said, what about me on the way out? But that was crazy. Um, yeah, so you would say that a lot of things that you went through that you would consider it trauma in your younger years.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it didn't mess me up to where I was like cuckoo, but it messed me up. Just didn't realize it till later.
Now here's the thing though, like the way you conduct yourself on campus, it looked like you never missed a beat. Matter of fact, you were very popular.
Yeah.
You got a lot of respect from everybody. You didn't really have any kind of affiliation to anything that was of bad of bad nature, that kind of thing. I'm quite
Hmm.
sure you kept your grades up somehow.
Yeah. Except for that
Uh
senior year. Except for the senior year.
oh, you had some senioritis.
Yeah, yeah. Because what I was doing, I don't know if you remember, I was so when I would come to your class, that was my therapy. So you I can talk about the wrestling a little later, but that the art was because I'm an artist, of course. So that was you would have the music on, it would be atmosphere. I would just come in there, and at first you kind of question me, and then like it went so far as like I would be in your class like every couple of other days because the work that they were giving me in the class wasn't challenging to me. I'm just like, oh my God, this is boring. I'm finishing the work, and then I became kind of nonchalant about it. And I would just come in your class, or I don't know if you remember. Remember, I should just draw everybody that came in here, and I still have those
Yeah,
pictures now.
yeah. People
Um,
thought you were strange, but go ahead.
yeah, I would just draw everybody. I was like, come sit down, let me draw you. That was my healing process. So I was when you spoke to me about Cal Arts, that was like um, I think you're talking about Cal Arts, and then you took me to Cal Arts, and then I saw that was where I saw my future. I actually want to be like you and become an art teacher. I said I want to do this, and that's why I just would come and I would just, because growing up, I used to draw I had visions. So I would draw what I was having visions of. My mom knew about it and stuff. So it was kind of like apocalyptic stuff. And I would draw demons and angels and all this stuff that had meaning. And then I finally get this. You're my first art teacher. Everything else is just naturally, kind of homegrown. And so that was my healing space. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
everything that I was going through with my mom, everything that I was going through, my sexuality, everything I was going through, I had suicidal tendencies. No one knew about it. All that stuff was coming out of my art. So that was my healing space. You know what I mean? So that's where I spent my senior year because that was when the most trauma had happened. You know what I mean? So I just kind of felt safe there. And and then what happens, my grades towards like the last 3 weeks of school, that's when I was like, okay, you're not gonna pass. And then I went into panic mode because it's like, well, my mom is definitely gonna kill me. Even though she's going through what she's going through, that's not an excuse.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm supposed to be the breadwinner for the family, as far as like I was a hope, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm the oldest male, I have these responsibilities. So I don't know if you knew, I remember that last 3 weeks of school, I kind of crammed. I went to after school program, Cesar Chavez, and I made up my 11th because I failed the 11th grade and the 12th grade. So I made up the 11th and 12th grade in 3 weeks.
Damn. So you're a super achiever there.
Yeah. I could have did it then, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. Now, um, the thing that I was looking at as well is, because the title is called Millennial Masculinity,
Hmm.
and I think your brothers were really trying to define some kind of manhood, some kind of way through these struggles.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm just gonna stick to your answer because basically your answer pretty much ties into what show business people are looking for.
Right. Right.
supposed to be confused, going through a lot of different things, trying to find yourself and try to have some kind of identity, things like that.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden, here comes Krumping, where it's supposed to give you a sense of, you know, alternative ways on how to solve your problems, you know, work out your frustrations, but still have
Hmm.
fun and be productive at the same time. How did you get to the Krumping?
So how I got to the crump. So during the during the era of like when we were in high school, I don't know if you remember uh Jim Harthom.
Yeah,
He was
Jim.
a drum major.
Yeah.
So what happened with Jim? Jim was a dancer. I kind of stayed in contact with him after high school, after we graduated, and he started a. So Tommy the Clown was, and Tommy the Clown was responsible for setting the foundation for, um, Crump. Period. You have a lot of people that disagree with it, but that's a political thing. So he set a foundation. He had the whole clown dance movement, which was exploding during that time. Um, uh, so he had that going on. Jim has started a group called Platinum Clowns. Now I went over just to kind of check it out, and I saw, oh, it was cool. And I just would watch them. They would just have practice, and I was like, "What's this?" And I was like, "Oh, this is clown dancing." I'm like, "Clown dancing? What the heck is this?" So back in the day, we had Luke, we had Luke Star, we had, what I'm saying, like
Hmm.
our dance was just grinding. That's how we did. So, and I did a little dancing. I was shy, um, but I would dance. Like if you push me out there, what I'm saying, I would dance. So what ended up happening, I went to a kind of birthday party my cousins were at, and it was this group, another group called Just Clowning. So Just Clowning was actually beefing with Tommy at the time. It was the alternative for gangbanging. So Tommy Clown really gave like a jewel to the world with this with clown dancing. So that was his alternative to gang violence, is take the kids and teach them clown dancing, and they can compete, same type of energy, you know what I mean? Same type of energy, but they can battle instead of fighting, instead of killing, instead of shooting. So it was kind of like the gangbanger had the sets, which was tribal. You had the the clown dancer, which had the crump. Sorry, I keep saying crump. Clown groups, which were like gangs. So we had that going on. So I go to the party, they're dancing. This little clown runs up on me and starts dancing. Her name was Kiera, or Bobo. They called her Bobo. And she was like, she couldn't have been but like maybe 11 years old. And I'm like, what is this little girl doing? And everybody was just like hyping her up. And I'm like, what the heck? So I just danced. I just battled her back. You know what I mean? Just did what I knew how to do, what I saw them doing. And they were like, oh, you're pretty tight. You should start dancing. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, nah. So I just kind of like, stuck in the back of my head. I became friends with one of the clown dancers. Um, his name was Danger. Then I went start going to Jim's practice, and I slowly but surely started picking it up.
Hmm.
And I developed a character, which was like name first. It was a Crucial the clown. Oh my God, it's embarrassing. So it's Crucial the clown, and then um, so we started doing that. We battled and stuff, but then it was so you had the top clowns at that time was, you had like, which was like the kingpins of the movement. Tommy was the man. Then you had high class clowns. You know what I mean? Like I
Right.
guess so you had in the group was El Nino, Swoop, rest in peace, uh, Lil Larry the clown, all these clowns. So up and coming during that whole phase was Tight Eyes, Miho, Little C, and Prissy. They were in high class and Tommy, but they were the emergent. So they were the next generation. So they all dance more aggressively. So I started hanging around with them.
Hmm.
And then when we began to hang together, um, we started to just develop. Everyone started to develop their own style of the clown dancing, which was more aggressive, and it formed into what is called crump now. It was like more aggressive without the face paint, without the, we wore colorful, bright clothing, shredded clothes, tails. Everything was entertainment. You know what I mean? So it's like you have a person that has to go dance for entertainment, but then
Right.
when they get through, I want to take off this makeup. It was more so like hardcore. We danced to more hardcore music because we had to have the clean music for the kids. Then we started dancing to more darker music, and our we started to tell a story more with our dancing versus entertaining.
Hmm.
And that's just how it developed. It developed in the living rooms. It developed uh, um, in front yards, in garages, and it was healing. It was another place of healing. And for me, I brought a different aspect to it because I started to pour my pain, my anger, my rage out through my dance. You know what I mean? Because everyone else was, well, most of them were dancers and trained dancers. Todd Ice was a trained dancer. Miss Prissy was a dancer. I don't think Miho was ever trained to dance. And I think, see, they were pursuing being dancing. I was just there trying to express myself. You feel me? I was
Hmm.
just angry. I
Hmm.
was hurting, and I just poured out, and they were feeling it. And yeah,
Man. So now it grew. People, especially in different, I mean, pretty much all of Los Angeles, just as well as Compton, pretty much really knew what crumping and clown dancing was, correct?
correct, correct.
And they had a lot of different competitions and things like that, right?
Right, right, right.
And that was something that people had, like, platinum clowns, Tommy the Clown stuff, crumping. They had all these things on their shirts and things, and even you heard radio advertisements, stuff like that. Now, how did, I think it's Lionsgate Entertainment, the film industry,
Uh huh.
how did they approach you guys as far as doing that movie?
So ended up happening. We had the whole movement was developing. It was raw underground. We had a woman named Tasha Cooper was helping us. Various mothers and leaders in the Crump community that had groups. They were trying to get us. They were trying to help us actually become more professional. They were taking us to auditions. They were taking us before Hollywood to get on. So we're trying to get on music videos and become discovered. So going on auditions and video, tryouts and all that stuff. And we I don't know why their name is. So Tona and Rich actually discovered, uh, found Tommy the Clown prior to, and then they came and discovered uh, what we were doing as Crump, and we ended up doing, how was it? We ended up doing, I believe it was the MTV. We did a spoof on the Matrix. It was on the MTV Movie Award, so we did a spoof on the Matrix, and we got cool with them, and then they connected us with Dave LaChapelle, who began to come down and see what we were doing, and he was just like uh, amazed. He was enamored, and he, began to watch what we were doing, and we were just again expressing ourselves. So it was like we did it 24 hours a day, pretty much 7 days a week. Probably if we had to go to church or something, but that's all we did. That's all I did. Because that was like, I guess, how people smoke weed and smoke cigarettes and drink alcohol or use drugs. I was addicted. I like it. It became who I was. So they introduced us to Dave LaChapelle. Dave LaChapelle is recording and filming us, and he just was like, "Hey, I just want to document what you guys are doing. That's all." So it wasn't like this is going to be a movie. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So Um, so what ends up happening is he documents everything, and this is where the story gets like it gets really. I don't want to even say. uh, painful, but this is where like the truth set in. So he comes down, he does he films it, he takes it, and he produces what's called first the line. I believe it's called what's called the Lion's Den, and the movie, the actual name of the movie came from me. So I ended up so he would just come and interview all of us, right? I mean, all of it was like maybe like it was hundreds of kids, you know what I mean, young people, and I guess just certain people stood out to him. And so he interviewed, and I was speaking when he was doing the interview, and I was saying something like, "We are going to sail into the industry, and we're going to rise." That's what I said. We're going to rise, and it changed from Lions Den to Crump. I believe it's called Lions Den, to Crumped, Krumped, and then it became Rise. And so he coined the name of the movie Rise from the interview that we had. And then we did the Sundance Film Festival, because then it became a more extended version. Then when he did the extended version, he did the Sundance Film Festival, and actually we were all in the back together praying, to God, Lord, God, let him pick it up. If you pick it up, we'll give back to the community. We did all this praying, and everyone said what they were going to do, and it was kind of cried out. We wanted to, and Sundance, from the Sundance Film Festival, Lionsgate picked it up, and from then it was history. Um, but being that it was a documentary, it wasn't, what I mean? It wasn't a film, it was a documentary. So the pay was different, and the story, that's when it takes a turn.
Mhm.
Then it gets put out before the nation, and I go from being, and it was crazy because, my family, everybody like would be like, you're tight in this, and I wasn't trying to be anything. I just was expressing myself. But
Mhm.
everybody was like, man, we feel you. It's just like, I was okay, well, whatever. Um, and my my the only other problem we were having was also, so my mother was like, you need to do something with yourself, because you know what I mean. Like, I wasn't bringing in money. This is what I was doing 24/7. I was working like little, warehouse jobs or whatever. Um, but I didn't have any substantial income. You know what I mean? So I started to create my income. So I started to use my art. And from what you taught me in school, I used to draw people, and they would pay me to draw them. And I would paint, on the black t-shirts, draw the characters and paint them. And I sold those. And then I started to design my own type of crump fashion. That's how I took care of myself before the movie blew up. Then once the movie blew up, uh, I just had a bigger market, you could say, but I didn't become rich or anything like that,
Wow.
because
Now,
we
oh, go
weren't
ahead.
paid like that.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was saying we weren't paid like that. So people think like because it was a, big feature film,
Uh huh.
you know, that we were like, oh, we're lavish. I still drove that Mazda, old beat up Mazda. I still went back home to Compton. I still was in the hood. It just was the art that we did was displayed. And I was now famous, but still not rich. You know what I mean?
Mm. Like Dr. Dre
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
the time. Wow. So now, when you were out there and you were pretty much doing things, were you guys like touring or anything, like going to like different countries or anything like
Yeah.
that?
We toured a lot of places. Tommy the Clown toured more because, he was more entertaining. He, what I mean, he had a lot to offer. And there was some politics behind the scenes. Um, you had uh, the dancers went off and started doing music videos, like with Madonna and Missy. Like then everyone was getting requested. Now for me, I didn't go on. I went to a couple of tours. I went to like Nice, France. I think that's the only place I've been out of the country. Because during that time of the movie now getting put out, um, I got gave my life to Christ, and then I had a conversion. So I began to preach everything that was coming out. Like just like I expressed my anger, I'm now expressing my hope, salvation and things like that. And they were trying to censor that. They were like, "No, you can't say that." And being me, I'm like, "You cannot tell me what not to say." So that became a problem. And then I wasn't like a more technical dancer, so I wasn't as skilled as everyone else in the entertainment part of the dance. I was just the expressor.
Mhm.
So I didn't go on as much of the tours or get any. I did some music videos, but I didn't go on tours with anybody and things like that. I started to take a different path, which is really just like evangelizing. I became consumed with that.
Now, what other like this? We're talking about what 2005, 6, 7, 8, and so on, correct? In the what we say the mid 2000s.
Yeah, mid 2000.
Okay. So what other people were in your circle? Because I think you mentioned like the B2K people. What were the other people that you were always constantly in contact with when you were out there doing the stuff with the Krumping?
Um, I was in contact with, so we had Orion, which was Omarion's little brother, Omarion, Chris Brown. I did a lot of his music videos and I did a lot of makeup. So I was requested to do a lot of makeup work with him. Um, Khalees, Andre 3000. Um, I did makeup work for them. So, um, yeah, those are the more so the people that we're connected with. This those that new up and coming, more so like Omarion, Orion, um, Chris Brown, the new age up and coming artists that they were developing.
Okay. So the reason why I'm asking that is because I'm quite sure you witnessed some things behind the scenes that
Hmm.
the industry constantly tries to do with teenagers or just children in general with some kind of talent. Is there anything that you want to share with us or that you can with some of the things that they try to do in order for them to, I guess, utilize your talents?
So what ended up happening? So well, I didn't share this. So prior to prior to me coming into salvation, after high school, uh, I started to really get involved in the lifestyle of homosexuality. So what ended up happening is once the movie came out, right? I had gotten saved and turned away from it, right? So during that time, it was like the pinnacle of like right after my conversion, I'm going into Hollywood, and I remember being at one of a director's home, just like, hey, you're gonna go hang out and get some food or something. Come hang out. So I was like, I'll go hang out. I was in. It's like, hey, you want to go hang out? Go get in the pool, jacuzzi. I'm like, yeah, cool. Just kind of showing me the lavish lifestyle. The mansion. I'm like, oh, this is good. You want some champagne? I had never had champagne before, so I'm just throwing it down. I'm like, oh my god! So I'm a little buzzed. So I go getting in the pool, and then these two Caucasian people come in and get in the pool, and me, during that time, all Caucasian people looked alike to me, so I didn't know who it was. I'm just like, who is this? Um, if it was like Janet or somebody, I would have been able to recognize who it was. So it was Pamela Anderson, and I guess her husband at the time, Tommy Lee or something. And they came up to me and they asked me, did I want some of these pills? And I'm like, what are those? And they're just like, "You want some?" And they started tongue kissing in front of me. I'm looking, and I had this feeling in my spirit. I just felt really uncomfortable, and like, I got that stranger danger hit my stomach, and I was like, "Bruh, I need to get out of here." Um, so it was ecstasy. So they were, I guess they came in or brought in to try to turn me out. I got up out of that pool, and I shook. I was like, "Nah." I just like, "Nah, I'm cool. I'm cool." I got up out of there. So yeah, that was a very very uncomfortable situation. But I saw the psychology of what they were trying to do. You know what I mean? Present him with this lavish lifestyle, get him a little tipsy. You know what I'm saying? And then turn him out. And then later I came to find out that it was Pamela Anderson. And I asked the director, I was like, "Who is that?" It's like, "Oh, this is such and such and such and such." I was like, when they came inside, and I'm looking like, okay, you know what I mean. So I don't. They didn't say anything to the director about what was going on. I just they was like, "Oh, did you meet this person? This person?" I was like, "Yeah," but they were trying me, definitely trying me.
Now, after you pretty much turned that stuff down, was there a backlash, or were there some kind of shaming tactics, as they call it now?
I just know that I didn't go on any tours. I didn't, what I mean. The doors that were open, it kind of just was like it was a distance from then on. Less and less communication. Actually, that was the last communication, and that was it. No more, no more, nothing. The I think the other crazy encounter I had is when again, I was pretty much vocal about what I stood for. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I remember me and my father, we went to, they had an award ceremony behind the scenes. They had an award ceremony, and we were kind of like taking pictures with everybody was taking pictures with us because it was a big thing. And all these different companies were backstage, like handing out stuff to people, and then there was like the Heineken. It was like no, it was the Budweiser girls. So they were there in like their bikinis and, everything all out. And they were like, "Hey, take a picture." And I'm sitting there like, "No, I can't take a picture with y'all." And they're like, "Why?" And I'm just like, "Because number one, I don't drink. I don't condone, that type of lifestyle." And then me, I'm by this time I'm preaching, and I'm like, I don't want to confuse people about what I stand for. You know what I mean? And so I
Hmm.
was like, I just didn't want to be sitting there, thumbs up, arms around, endorse, because I didn't endorse it. So it came off kind of strong, but I didn't want to send off any more confusion. So it's kind of like I was drawing that line in the sand. And the more and more I did that, it just kind of, I guess you could kind of say I hung myself, if you will, but I wouldn't bend on what I was still for at all. And they saw that.
Now, did other now you don't have to say the names of the people, but did other people in the group give in to this kind of lifestyle?
To my knowledge, no. Um, I don't know, but I I wouldn't put it past them trying to, because everyone was young, and what I'm saying, the young women that were in it, beautiful, the young men were handsome, we're new, we're fresh, and I'm pretty sure, like, what I mean, this is what happens is fresh meat on the block, who gonna tag them, and who's gonna, who's gonna get her, who's gonna get him, who's gonna get that trophy piece, and you could feel that vibe of, them trying to trophy piece people. You could feel it.
So
You
that
could
being
feel
the
it.
case, would you chalk that up to having some kind of like I guess they call it street knowledge or instinct to know the difference of what's going on, where you can be able to be on guard because of stuff that you experienced in your younger times?
Yeah, definitely. So, like I said, when I was prior to, when I was younger, I had gotten molested um, several times, so I knew that feeling. I knew that energy. I knew that vibe that was there, and you could feel it very, very, very strong. It was like, "Hey," it was like, "Hey, come here," but it just feels sticky to me. You know what I mean? I'm like, And it wasn't because I was traumatized. It was the reality of what was, you know what I mean? It was like put the bait out there and see. And I wasn't. I could see through it. So I'm like, this is game. You know what I mean? This is game.
And now did you kind of get the gist of what was going on with the rest of the people and the people that were, I guess, young and up and coming? Did you get like some kind of detail as far as what they had to go through? And because I believe you were, I mean, I'm not sure if you're able to share some of these things as far
You
as
know, I wouldn't say that like when no one really like kind of talked to me. I would pray a lot. I would have like visions and things like that, and God would speak to me. So I remember speaking to Chris Brown several times, just about things that I saw pertaining to him. I spoke to him. I believe it was his mother and his manager at the time. His mother was there, and I believe he had a manager that was with him. And they were God fearing, and I just kind of shared with them, prayed with them. Chris Brown was like, he was like really like just like a cool, innocent kid, you know what I mean? And he was a fan of ours, so he was like, they were grooming him as far as like being the next upcoming artist and saying all these things. This is when he did Run It. This was before he Run It just came out, and we were shooting this video. And I remember I did Run It and Give Me That with him and a couple other things. And I would just constantly admonish him to stay on track with God, keep his morals. I really, all of them, I spoke to them about keeping their morals and, not letting, Hollywood corrupt them. You know what I mean? And yeah,
and apparently they didn't listen.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because hearing later all this other stuff, it's like, oh wow, And but I had left the industry. I had no contact with them afterwards. I just saw the result of, the warnings, and they'll remember because they were coming a lot of times to learn from us. Um, so a lot of times it was myself, my brother Todd Eyes. We were both like heavy into ministry and very passionate about what we stood for and very in your face with it. So we were like black, Billy Grahams. We were right there, Benny Hinn and Billy Graham. Just anywhere we were, we would just start preaching. So they were coming to dance with us, and then we start. You know, we didn't really care about their stardom. You know what I mean? They were famous, but it's like your soul is more important, in who you are as a person was of more value than your fame. So we wanted to give them something to, what I mean, something to help
Hmm.
them. And it's kind of like, oh, okay. Uh, I believe Chris listened more. It kind of got that vibe from him. You know what
Now, you mentioned Chris.
I
What
mean?
made him, in your opinion, what made him go more into that whole affiliation with the blood game?
So so Chris was so one of my cousin was actually involved in it's like his right hand man. My cousin Barry is, I think, like his roadie or something like that, and they began to hang out, and I think he just started hanging around with people. I believe it was just like he was trying to look for family or some genuine people. And this is what I just believe, kind of in Hollywood, it's like everybody wants you for your your talent. Everybody that's associated with you. And I'm not saying everybody, like everyone, but the majority don't care about you. They just want that fame, that fame, or that I'm associated with this person. You know what I mean? Like, oh, if I get close to this person, this is gonna be my stepping stone to this. Or if I'm known to be associated with this person, then it'll draw these people. I'll look more popular. It's attention. You know what I mean? People become attention whores. So I believe like I believe he was just really looking for acceptance because of what he was getting from Hollywood, and he found acceptance from the Blood Gang. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
those were the people I kind of grew up with. Everybody that he was associated with. So I was like, oh wow.
That's deep. Now, the title of this is Millennial Manhood. and I was asking certain things on that got guys kind of like, cloudy and what would you say, cloudy and confused on what to do growing up to define yourself as a man. And you pretty much laid out some of your experiences. Now, going back to the industry, you see what's going on now with the whole we're just gonna say transformer uh what do you call it, promotions with different
Hmm.
celebrities, things like that. I mean, you're seeing what's going on with the whole hip hop, where a lot of these guys are a little bit more fluorescent than normal, wearing dresses, and I haven't seen high heels yet, unless y'all did, but but you're seeing all these things happening to where it's
Hmm.
kind of like geared towards, black males, and it's like they're kind of reaching more and more to younger black males, to where the Alicia Keys son and Dwayne Wade's son and all these kind of things. Now, do you see this as a collective effort, or these are just happen to be things that just circumstance?
Um, I see this as a collective effort. Um, if you understand that a lot of times the black male has a certain level of influence that other males do not have socially. So I believe socially we are more strong. There's more of a draw. There's more magnetism, the charisma, all that's there. Um, I believe that there's a collective effort. And I mean, I actually teach about this a lot of times in sermons and things like that. So what ends up happening is, you find the person that has influence, right?
Mhm.
This person that has influence also has a voice and a platform. If we can turn the person that has influence and a platform, right, we kill, in a sense, two birds with one stone. Because if everybody's emulating him and listening to him, if we change him or her, but let's go him, right? If we
Mhm.
change him, it will change them slowly but surely. You know what I mean? So if you look at, you know, the fashion, right? They take a black male, they slowly, take away his masculinity, they they feminize him, and they give him this negative lifestyle to represent. And slowly but surely, as go the head, goes the body.
Now, I'm going right back to the title, millennial masculinity. Why are they
Hmm.
going hard in the paint? Because to me, it seems like they're getting much more harder in the paint to go after black male masculinity, especially your generation. I mean,
Right.
why are they going after you guys so tough?
Um, I, it's, I mean, from a biblical standpoint, it's a part of it's a part of Satan's agenda, not just the black male, but it's just the leaders. If you change the kings, you know what I mean. If you change the leaders, you get the people. You may have a few people that revolt, but you'll get the masses, and um, and they're going after the easy, what they see as easy prey, because the black male, you know what I'm saying, usually doesn't have a father figure. So you have a black male who doesn't know who he is, who's been given the platform. He doesn't know what his goal, not that all of us don't, but that's just, majority. He doesn't know who he is. So if we give him a platform, he owes us. You know, if we validate him for his talent, right? We've drugged him. He's gonna need that validation. I mean, that's what you see going on with these stars, right? Childhood stars, they come to find out they have all these sexual problems and all this stuff, or years later, was because you platformed them. They didn't have substance. They were applauded for their talent. Nobody cared about who they were or what was going on with them, as long as they were making people money and giving people, making people famous, giving people money. And so then what do you have? You have basically a boy who's been put in a man's position, who doesn't even know what to do with the platform that he's been given. That's one of the problems that we're even dealing with in our the crump culture itself, and in the church. We're dealing with people who have been given a platform who don't know the responsibility of a platform, who don't know the weight that's on them. And so instead of protecting, what they're responsible for, they pass the drug along.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Uh, so I kind of deal with that in our community of Crump, where the things that were supposed to be passed on, in a sense, didn't get passed on, and we have a bunch of people, and they're very skilled and talented as far as the dance goes right now, and but the hardest thing is it's the drugs getting passed around. Not that people in our culture are being effeminized or whatever, but they are being put on platforms, and their attention just want more attention. Same thing within the church. That agenda of you're put in a position of a leader and you don't even know how to lead or what to do. What are you going to do now? What next? You know what I mean? So we're dealing with this political thing where it's like, I'm the best, I'm the most talented, but I don't even know what to do with what I've been given, and most don't.
Hmm.
I knew
Now,
what to do with what was given to me.
now
You know,
going back to the elder part again. When you guys were doing crumping, did you guys get any criticism from older people as far as you guys doing being too vulgar or too out
oh
there
my
with it?
God,
Could you explain that?
man. So again, my mother, she supported me in the crump, in the movement of crump. I think the only problem with her was like there wasn't money coming in. You know what I mean? So she was more concerned about like, hey, look, you grown. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to take care of yourself. So that was her concern, but she supported me in that. But like from elders, and it was ridiculed. It was ridiculed until the movie came out. It was ridiculed. Like no, here's a cold thing. Our mother supported us, but there were no fathers. I don't even remember anybody. Um, Miho's father wasn't there. Lil C's father wasn't there. Tie Dye's father wasn't there. My father wasn't there. All of us that were lifted up and platformed had no fathers.
Now, putting
Tommy,
your
Tommy was the father for us.
hmm, that kind of goes with the whole coach dynamic, right? Having a coach.
Yeah, yeah.
So in your, like, looking back, and you name multiple situations where the father wasn't around for such a big opportunity or a big achievement. Why do you think those fathers weren't around?
All those fathers were ran away. You know,
Mm.
some people. I mean, a couple of our fathers have passed away. I know Little C's father was passed away. Um, but a lot of fathers were ran away or walked away. So we were dealing with abandon. You had abandonment issues. The fathers just walked away, left the children, or you know what I mean. So there was
Hmm.
no presence. I believe most fathers nowadays, back then, I believe the problem was stronger in that context. But I believe most fathers walked away then. I believe most of the ones that are dealing with it now, they didn't want to be fathers to begin with. It was just about the sex.
Now, these guys that were considered, I guess the fathers then, were they in their 20s, 30s, teens? I mean, like not like big, what was the average age for like newly made fathers?
And um, fathers are more so, I believe, like maybe 30s, maybe
Oh,
they
they
had a
were in
little
the
more
30s.
time. Yeah, like 30s, late 20s
Hmm.
versus now 16, 17. So I believe this with everything that's being pumped and paraded and shoved down people's throats as far as sex, the access that everyone has to the internet, all the access to the internet, It's producing, sexual urges in people, especially young males. They're hot and bothered. They don't know what to do. They're sleeping with these women, and then they don't know what to do once the child comes forth. You know what I mean? I didn't want a baby. I just want to have sex. I just want to hit it. You know what I'm saying? And that's
Now,
just what
this
we're
has been
doing.
going on for like different generations, right? Why do you think
Yep.
the cycle is repeating itself?
Uh, because the leaders haven't stopped it. It's a self-control and discipline issue, and we're breeders. So you have, the psychology of oppression. You look at sociology, oppression. When people are oppressed, they breed. They
Wow.
breed. You put a pressure, and even if in the movie you can look and see, uh, I talk about being oppressed.
Hmm.
But I believe that when people are oppressed, they either create art or they create life. You know what I mean? Even though art is life, they have sex or they express themselves. So oppression breeds expression. So people are going to express themselves either sexually or artistically or destructively. And so the mass has been destruction, more so destruction being produced and sexual stuff being produced.
That explains Frida Kahlo, if anybody know her story. Um, now, going into the part about the dancing. I remember you mentioning about there were certain energies, like demonic energies, I think you said,
Oh
that
yeah.
were coming out of you, and you had to either take a break or move away from it. Could you explain that?
So so what ended up so I think towards prior to the um I think the cusp of the Rise movie coming out.
Hmm.
All that darkness and stuff that I had pent up and it had never been communicated in a sense,
Hmm.
verbally. It was also people were like, man, I feel you, man. You just so, and again, I was hurting. So I think during the movie, you can see I had like this bandage on my arm because I tried to kill myself. I think it was like 3 attempts. So I had 3 near-death experiences. Two was a car accident, 2 car accidents, and one was actually no, 2 times was a suicide attempt. Where I just kind of just I would punch glass to that was the demonic manifestation. I would punch glass when I heard glass breaking. It would I guess it would soothe me. So, but I had to bleed. So I would hurt myself. So I had these fish aquariums I would keep, and I would just punch them and cut open my arm and bleed out. And that's my mom. She took me. She was like, oh, "Okay, you know what? We're taking you to Augusta." And so she she took me. She took me before she was actually in the psychology at the time. She had gotten her life together. She was in psychology. So go figure, right?
Yeah. Wow. So, going into the aggression part, I remember a lot of you and your friends in my class were emulating a lot of the pro wrestling or the WWF at the time. Would you say that that was some kind of way to do some kind of relief as well?
Yeah. So like for us again, males, I believe males, not females too, but we have aggression. It's a part of our nature. You know what I mean? Like even a little kid will run up, my son will run up and wrestle with me. You know what I mean? Just jump on him. I'm not to like it's an aggression thing. Even in the animal kingdom, you can see like, the little young tiger going and it's aggression, it's in us, and aggression is not dangerous, or it's not negative. It's just, you know, it can turn aggressive. I mean, it can turn dangerous or poisonous. So that was our release. I mean, we used to hit each other in the head. You remember, we used to hit each other in the heads with chairs and 2x4s and slam people through fences, and it was fun. The pain. It was like getting to that threshold of pain was like it was calming. You know what I mean? I still even do pro wrestling to this day.
And you
And
brought
so
that
I
into
tell people,
you brought that into
yeah,
Krumping, correct? Okay, go ahead.
yes. So I brought so in Crump. I'm known for innovate. Because remember, everyone else is kind of skilled dancer. I mean, I would grab people literally. I'd be dancing, grabbing somebody, and I would grab them by their collar and just toss them. You know, I would put people through tables. It was that aggression coming out. It was like what? But they loved it. It was like, oh, that's crazy. You're not supposed to do that, but yeah, you know what I mean. So that was what I was known for. I carried around chains. You know, people would be dancing, and I would just like smack them as hard as I could because that was the only way to express it. They were like tight. They were getting off, and I was like, I would just hit them, and so I was known for like I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like I was a dangerous person. I wasn't trying to hurt anybody, but it was like if you get around him, you may get pushed, you may get slammed, you may get, you know what I mean? It was like I guess a person that like tries to communicate and may cuss you out, but I was just cussing people out with my body language, basically to say that.
Okay. Yeah, because that was the thing I was, I listened to a little, a little bit more as far as the influence where, and I remember you meeting Don Campbell, and
Yeah,
your eyes. So you knew about him. Your eyes lit up when you saw him. So you actually knew about him.
yeah, Campbell Lock, Don
Yeah,
Campbell, and when you introduced me to what was that?
Boogaloo Sam.
No, Boogaloo Sam. It was him. It was Don Campbell, and it was Public Enemy. No, was it
Oh,
not
Professor Grip. Oh yeah, when you
Professor Grip?
came to his lecture. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, because Don Campbell and Boogaloo Sam, they were influenced by the the minds type guys, with the because it was funny how you would say, oh, and then also they were influenced by Kung Fu, right?
right,
Where
right,
your influences came from WWF,
right,
right?
right.
Now
Yeah,
it's funny you mentioned when you came in. What was so important about you coming into Professor Grip's lecture? He used the Rize footage to explain how Krumping was more likely to be something of ancestry.
yeah, yeah,
Also, he even compared what the tribes did with you guys, even down to even putting war paint on.
when they
Those
did
kind
the
of-
yeah, when the director was doing the movie, he tied that in. We had like I didn't go around. None of us went around looking at African anything to influence us. We didn't watch, you know what I mean, Warriors. We just were expressing ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, and it became more and more. It became more and more of connected to the tribal aspect of it. They revealed it to us, um, once they revealed it to us, it was like, oh wow, we didn't know. We didn't know that it was connection at all. We had no idea, and not been explained to us or nothing. It was just somebody revealing, like, do you know that this is connected to your ancestry? Do you know that this is? It was like, no, I did not know.
Now,
So
do
when we
you
saw
have?
the movie,
Uh-huh.
like we teared up. We teared up. I remember seeing that part, and I was like, whoa,
Wow.
you know what I mean?
So
Like it was just coming out. You know what I mean? Like imagine you doing something and finding out this is in your bloodline. And so even in the movie I was talking, I was like, it was in us from birth because I didn't get trained to crump. I just expressed my I just expressed myself and it came out. You know what I mean? Like
right,
versus everyone else, a lot of people, practice and I didn't practice. I just expressed myself.
that's so deep, man. And the thing too is for that to be ancestral, is there a dance after you guys that had the same type of lineage of ancestors, or were you guys the last?
No, no, we were the last.
Damn.
I believe we're the only, and it's still around to this day. They said it was not gonna. I mean, they said that dance was not going far. They ridiculed it, but it is alive and well right now.
Is there any chance of any infiltration, like you have, like white rappers, or that kind of? Is there any type of people that are coming in trying to change the face of Crumping?
Uh, so I mean, because it's all across the world. New Zealand, Japan, it is everywhere. Europe. I mean, there are crump crews everywhere. Matter of fact, overseas they are doing better with it than we're doing here, because they're unified. They don't have, you know what I mean. Um, they don't have the same agendas that we have here. So here, people are still fighting over who created it, and like amongst us that were pushed in the movie, there's a there's been a jostle over who gets credit for it, and I think that's like distractive. And I mean, it has a purpose in a sense, but it's distracting towards the purpose. You know what I mean? Um, so over there, they don't care. They just running with it. So they're making money. They have events. They have international competitions and championships, and people are being sent overseas and kind of scholarships. And we're over here still. So they got dance studio. They reaped from what we sold, and we have nothing. I wouldn't say we have nothing to show for it, but th- here where it comes from, there's no there's no fruit from it. Not real fruit.
So now, the people that are trying to go back and forth about it, as far as who originated and things like that, is that like more like the younger generation against the new generation, or is it some? I mean, how's that broken down?
It's just our generation. It's all of us that were in the movie, and there's just it's a political fight for, who takes ownership of it, or what I mean. It's just a disagreement with what we're gonna do with it now. So some people want to do this with it, some people want to do this with it, and it's unresolved issues from the development of it. You know what I mean?
Wow. Now, I think I have all my questions, brother. I don't even know if we need a part two. But I still feel like we didn't really get enough into the whole thing about masculinity,
Hmm.
because I think that is something that it has to be really spoken about, as far as the plights, and then of course
Hmm.
the problems, and then the solutions on it. Um, because I guess most people can come over here and really just break down their experiences, but I would try to encourage people to break down some of the things that they have observed with other circles and other people. Um, because a lot of people that are listening have growing boys, nephews, grandsons, and the thing is, the generation, younger generation, sometimes the older generation loses touch because of the gap, not knowing what to look for. So, would you say that, whatever you, because you're doing ministry, correct? He must be. I believe he's doing ministry.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you're doing ministry, correct?
Yep.
Would you say that your messages are reaching the young, or do you feel that your message is a little bit kind of, on the older sense, to where it's kind of far reach?
I feel like it is reaching to some degree, but I don't want to call this generation shallow, because that's not the right word. I just believe it's a little meaty. You know what I mean? It's a little
Hmm.
meaty. It's a little strong. I think a lot of people haven't lived life long enough to understand what I'm saying. So most of the people that I talk to, they're like, "Oh my God, they don't want to hear me." Like that old grandfather or whatever, and then or their father figure. A lot of people come back to me later. It's like, "Man, that what you showed me, that what you told me, man, it helped me so much." Or you helped my life in a tremendous, way. But I get flack a lot of times when I'm talking to people until later. So I don't really expect the fruit at the beginning. I just wait. You know what I mean? I know it's coming. They just have to see. You know what I mean?
So you're saying that a lot of people that are listening to your messages, it takes them a long time to process it.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
It's kind of like. one of it reminds me of like one of the scriptures talk about one of the apostles named Paul. He was like his letters they're hard to understand and it's weighty, you know what I mean, and it gets misconstrued. So a lot of times people misconstrue because I can see straight through to an agenda, a system. That's how I think. You know what I mean? I think systematic. I can see past all the veil, all the full. You can't pull that over me. You know what I mean? So when I talk to people about that, and they're like, "You're looking into it too far." You know what I mean? It's like, all right, I think that comes with what I mean. I guess wisdom. You know what I mean? So I believe I've been endowed with supernatural wisdom from God ahead of my time. So I believe I'm just ahead of my time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. This is kind of what I believe. Not that I'm like a genius or something like that. I just believe like what I've been given is to prepare people for what's coming.
Yeah, I'm starting to hear some of the 20s people in their 20s in these in our YouTube community that has that same type of description.
Hmm.
So that's why I'm trying to keep them at 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 arms, so I can reachable distance, so I can at least instill some of the things that are open to listen for. Because once I mean, I keep saying it, once they are set free, boy, that's it. So that's one of the things that I talked about last night on another panel, BMT's panel, where your Gen Zs are the ones that they're more demanding of with things of substance than the your generation, because your generation was more like Google, Wikipedia, anything in social media, maybe a video or something like that. But a lot of people that's younger, they want
Hmm.
something in their hand. They want to
Yeah.
touch it. They want to. So that's going to be. It's almost like you trying to tell somebody about Jesus, but it's like they're
Hey,
not going to
hey,
listen unless you
you
bring Jesus. Make it touch his face and everything.
you you are talking something so strong because that is what we've been dealing with. You know what I mean? So like even with the generation I'm dealing with now and teaching them scriptural, so there's this generation is like, he okay, Jesus is real, then I need to see
Take me
him
to
or
Jerusalem.
take me to Jerusalem or I need to see. So then they're like the healings and stuff. They need this power of God that you're talking about. You better possess it. You know what I mean? So like there have been we've had like people that have come around, and just from just me sharing the gospel, people laying hands on them praying, people who had locked up, wombs who couldn't have babies. Young man, I think even just like last week, his spine was crooked and he had his his kidneys or whatever were underdeveloped. So prayed for him, just laid hands and believed. His spine straightened up, his kidneys now they're overgrown. Just things like that. So people need a tangible. He's a young child. He had probably like 13 years old, 14 years old. So this generation is like, I don't want to hear no more stories. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear. And even in the Crump community, it's like even I have to go back in there every now and then, every now and then to go battle. And you know what I mean? 'Cause people are like, who are you? And I'm like, what? They're like, who are you? I'm like, wait, what do you mean? Who am I? You know what I mean? They don't even know who I am. They're like, oh, I, you're not out there dancing, so you can't talk to them. I'm like, wait, are you in the real life? They're like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, I did the groundwork and the hard work for what you're doing right now. You're enjoying what I sacrificed for. You know what I mean? But this generation is like, if I don't see no fruit, yeah. So I have to go in there every now and then battle some of them. You know what I mean? Just to have the platform to share the wisdom with them. If you understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Yeah. So
I'm working on a Gen Z panel.
okay, okay.
It's kind of hard because I don't know too many Gen Zs on this a sector of YouTube. I might have to get some of my Gen Z students, that are happen to be what 19, 20.
Hmm.
But yeah, if anybody, you would you like to answer a few questions in the chat before you do your duties?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can do that. Let's do that.
Okay, so we have one from Zero of the Infinite. His question was the style of clowning influenced by locking or lockers?
Um, Clowning, locking. Locking was involved in it because what clowning was you had you had the heel toe, the clown walk, the crip walk, the blood walk, all that stuff at first, and you had butt shaking, popping, which is a form of kind of that body control ticking. So I believe it had its influence in it. You know what I mean? I believe it kind of parented some things in it, and then people would often use locking in their dancing and battling with crump. I mean, with crump now they do it, but with clowning.
Okay. Um, so do you feel like you're getting old now?
Sometimes I do. I have a set of um these call them low homies, or what I mean, they're around me. They carry on the lineage, like, because I'm not as active in dancing. I just have too much responsibility to be there, like I was 24/7, and I don't perceive myself going to pursue a career in dancing. You know what I mean? That's just not my direction. But when I get in there with them, and I maybe have like 5 good rounds in me before I'm like, okay, let me rest, and they can go forever. So back then, what I mean, I can go 11 hours. Back, we can just keep going. But now, yeah, I wouldn't feel like I'm getting on. I just think I'm wearing this vessel out. You know.
So what are you doing now with yourselves and after the whole crump? Because you mentioned ministry. So what else are you doing so people can look out for you, things like that?
Currently, I'm working on a book. Currently working on a book. I'm being a present father to my children. I have 4 children. One boy, 3 girls. Uh, Set of twins. So, a present father, present husband. And I believe that's more important than anything I'm doing is my family. Beautiful wife Aziza and my kids. And then I'm pursuing professional wrestling. So I actually wrestle professionally now. Uh, so what I was doing back then, because I was gonna get into, so it was doing art, and then after art, then I was gonna go into professional wrestling. And because I got into clown dancing and crump and all that, and then ministry, I took a turn and never went in professional wrestling. So now I'm doing professional wrestling, and then I have a church in Compton, and then I travel all over teaching, evangelizing.
Wow. So you're a regular person. You're a human
Yeah,
being. Okay, we're surprised.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so
Most people, they don't, they're like, I put the pictures up, and I'm getting a lot of hits on my Instagram, my Facebook. We didn't know that was you because I told you I look different. Of course, I'm bald, more heavier set, and I got this big old beard. And people are like, we didn't know that was you. Even people in the congregation, you know what I mean? Because I don't go around saying, hey, I was in Rise. So I had people that were close to me. I was like, I didn't know you were in that movie. I didn't know it was you at my job. So people come into my job because actually work also. I have a full-time job. I work in corrections. So I work with the parole department, rehabilitating prisoners that are coming back into society. So a lot of guys in there, they're like, you look familiar. And I'm like, no, you don't know me from anywhere. And then they go and they do research, and they're like, that was you. And I'm like, oh my God. They're like, do some moves for me. I'm like, oh my God. So it's funny.
oh man. Now, you got any advice for people out there that wants to really get in that kind of industry? 'Cause I know, regardless of the horror that you explain, people still want to get into it. So, you have any advice for them?
I would definitely, I would, the same thing. I mean, I would say, know who you are. You know what I mean? Know who you are. Um, I would say, keep your thumb, I tell people, keep their thumbprint. Don't let people change your identity. Your thumbprint is unique to you. Um, and stand your ground, and don't sell out. So whatever doors that God had for you, whatever is a part of your destiny, even though people, may make you think that they hold your destiny in their hand, and that if you don't do what they want you to do at that moment, that they can blackball you. Um, no, you're going to be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. Because sometimes us selling out for an opportunity is us also giving up on ourselves. So I would say, don't number one, don't let them change who you are, and don't sell. You know what I mean? Don't sell because of the first offer. Don't even sell who you are and what you do. Keep your value. Very, very important. Um, I could have I could have probably been more famous, you know, but fame is nothing but a drug, and I've dealt with seeing enough drug addiction in my family. You know what I mean? So yeah, as I look at it, don't let fame become a drug.
And but you see that going in alarming rates though, as far as giving up your life for fame.
Yeah, people are they're giving up their body for a moment of fame. They're giving up their sons, their daughters, their family. They would sell their kidneys for, and it goes back to childhood, right? It To me, it just says, "Look at me, look what I can do." Somebody, look at me, look what I can do. And if and so there are a lot of people who they don't see value in themselves unless somebody else validates them. I validate myself, and God validates me. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
even though my mother went through what she went through, she gave me some very strong principles. She affirmed me like nobody's business. I didn't need anybody to tell me I was awesome. You know what I mean? I knew I was awesome. She told me every day. She told me I was a king every day. You know what I mean? And also me seeing her struggle from a man not being there, it made me want to become the man that she needed. And so I ended up becoming the man, you know what I mean? I ended up
Hmm.
becoming a father to many and an inspiration to many, even though they don't not know it yet, you know what I mean? They come back later and uh and they let me know.
Wow. Yeah, this is. I hope this was inspiring in some people, and I hope they'll be able to use this, to the best of their, I guess, to the best of their need.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I don't know. I mean, if I can come up with some more things for part two, so you can be on the other side drawing, um, that'll work.
Oh,
So, oh, go ahead.
no, I was like, for sure, for sure. I'm looking at your drawing, like, oh, look the method.
Yeah, I keep the method, brother. I teach it and do it right. So I
That's
think
what's up.
people probably want to do their thing out there on our YouTube streets here, and I guess I'll be getting ready to do some more material and content. But thank everybody for coming out here and showing some support and some love. And we have Jason. What names you got? You got all kinds of different names up in here. You got the Destroyer and
Oh, the Slayer, Slayer,
Dragon
the
and
Dragon Slayer, and then the in the wrestling, Jay Baptiste.
okay. I guess Zero the Infinite said, "Do Krumping and clowning have different philosophies, or are they very similar or the same?"
No, different philosophies. Different philosophies. Clowning is more so entertain the kids, and I believe in Crump, we've gotten away from the importance of the next generation. Um, yeah, the next generation is not as important, and I can say that. You know what I mean? As far as guidance, I was having a conversation with somebody about how like Tommy still grabs the kids and takes them up under his wings. You know what I'm saying? We more so do it for the context of Crump. You know what I mean? Like I do it for life. So if I mentor someone, like I still have people that I started mentoring back in 2003, 2004, because it's about life. You know what I mean? A lot of people within Crump, they just are grabbing people for the sake of having somebody to make them feel famous as a dancer. Like, this is my little homie. You know what I mean? Like, but they're not teaching me anything. So and the principles of clowning, it's more so Tommy still focuses on the kids and getting them early and steering them in the right direction.
Hmm. Yeah, I probably have to bring Tommy up here too.
Oh yeah, yeah, he'll do it. He'll do
He's very vocal.
it.
He probably won't even leave. But I
Like, all
know
right,
he,
Tommy.
huh?
He's like, and another thing.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, well, nice to hear. Well, then nothing. Don't leave. Hold on. It's like, oh man. Yeah,
But
I
I
just.
think this is what I believe. Like with him, for like he is he's responsible for saving. Of course, we know God sent that man, but his his gift is responsible for saving a generation, like seriously saving a generation from utter destruction. And it may seem as something light to him, but it really, you know what I mean? We would be, I don't know what I would probably be doing, you know what I mean? Had I not gotten into dancing, but had he not did what he did, we wouldn't even have this discussion, you know what I mean? So his sacrifice, laid the groundwork for who we are and what we're doing now. And I
Uh,
don't think he's been given proper credit for that. You know what I mean? I think you have like unsung hood celebrities, you know what I
mhm.
mean? But the seriousness of, you know what I mean, like even like what I've done over the years, I don't think people understand the seriousness of it until later. And I think the same thing with him. So I can feel that burden, you know what I mean? Like, man, he's just an unsung hero.
Yeah, because I didn't know he was still around. But wow. Yeah, I didn't know he was still doing his thing. Uh, but yeah, that's something that I want people to see that. I got my things. I got my opinions about every generation, but the thing that I'll always try to push is the greatness and what people are, I'm not going to deny it. So
Yeah.
I just
But
hope that.
I
Mhm.
think it's like the little things that we do, you know what I mean? Like even you and teaching me art, you know what I mean? Like that had a last impact. I mean, because everybody, you know what I'm saying, loved my shirt designs. Everyone loves me to draw. They love for me to draw. It's just a lot of times my problem with my art is I love doing it, so I don't like charging for it. I'm like, you
Uh-oh,
guys, that's so I'm gonna probably have to sit with you and let you school me on that.
big
But
mistake.
yeah, so it's like I just love it. You know what I mean? So for years I've given away, beautiful pieces of work and stuff. It's like, well, I don't know how to value it. I know it's valuable, but it's just like it's me, it's my heart, my love. So I mean, like if you hadn't did what you did, and you kind of took me under your wing, and you gave me some type of vision, you know what I mean, for my life, you know what I mean. Even with Cal Arts, that stuff, man, that stuff jacked my life up in the sense of it. It was an impact because you were the only, I mean, outside of my family, the only person that I feel like understood what I loved, which was art. You know what I mean? Like that's why I was always around.
Well, I
So
appreciate it. I only got a few years left there, and I'm out.
and then you done, huh?
I'm out. Y'all wear a brother out, man. Especially these younger generation. Oh man, it takes too long of a time to just teach you ABCs now. And it's not a dumb or smart thing. It's more of
Mhm.
a motivation thing.
Mm.
It's kind of hard. It's like, dang, this dude don't understand. If he don't know his ABCs, he's not going to be able to write his papers.
Yeah,
And I think you guys are going to be really. You got some work ahead of you with this younger generation, as you already know.
yeah,
But the thing is, I just hope that we can catch things on time
yeah. Not too
before
late.
before it hits the fan.
Yeah, yeah. Because we got this big. We had the moving of the ancient boundary stones, if you will, or the changing of
the value lines with what is masculinity and what is, you know,
Hmm.
what is. So when you change definition of what something has been identified, and with the big scream of what's going on with this generation of, I don't want to be identified as this, I want to identify as this. They're changing a whole lot of stuff, and it's an agenda that's going to throw confusion and chaos. So you have young men, you know, I mean, young women who is like, well, I don't want to be. It's a running for responsibility, really, to me. You know, I want to be
Hmm.
irresponsible with my genitalia. I want to be irresponsible with sex. You know, sex used to have uh, it used to have a weight of responsibility with it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Now, so free, go get a condom and take a morning after pill. You know what I mean? There's no thought. It's just I want to get this urge off. You know what I mean? It's just so people are just sleeping with people, no connection, no value, and the women are going for it. Not all women, but you know what I mean. The young women are going for it because they don't know how valuable they are. The young men are going for it because they don't know how valuable they are. And now we just keep producing life by accident and we don't want it. So, oops, I created life. Oh well. Oops, I created life. Oh well. You know what I mean? That's what's happening. It's like, oops. And so I believe I look at it like this: we're creating life for the people who can't create life, so that they can, you know, empty out those babies we created and fill them with demons. That's how I look at it.
Wow. Wow. You might have to come back and give us more on that one. I'm gonna write that down.
Oh yeah,
So
there's a lot I could teach on that. We'll be here. I could take you to walk through history on that one.
yeah, that's deep. And then you're talking about the powers that be, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Man.
powers that and who's using them. Yeah.
So it's like a factory.
Yeah, it's a factory. And I was one of the ones that got out.
Man, so
Yeah.
you are Zeus. You got out of Hades. Or no, no, I'm sorry, you got out of Cronus. That's
Man.
for people that know the story. Wow, that's yeah, that's deep because yeah, now I mean, man, I wish you would have said that earlier. Because that's what I was getting at, to where the whole redefining what is man and what is female, what is masculine, what is feminine, but at the same time, people are buying into pushing back or pushing away from the identity that they were born with per se, and even trying to redefine what born is.
Yeah. It's a demonic agenda through indoctrination, and so I believe men do have the responsibility. Men, if you got testicles and you're a man, you're born a man, you're right, you have a responsibility to be a gatekeeper and a protector. You do. You are born with a responsibility. Just like in the scriptures, Adam was born with the responsibility. And through, you know what I mean, through Eve, you know, there was deception. I'm not saying that women are blamed for this, but through femininity. When femininity rules masculinity, we have a problem. And so men are being led around by their genitalia. You know what I mean? I can't speak for what's right because I can't say what's right because, you know, my woman may get mad at me or these women may get mad. So now the alpha males are becoming, you know what I'm saying, submissive to alpha females, and the alpha females are being manipulated through their emotions to condone and affirm this agenda. And the men are sitting back like, I'm scared. You know what I mean?
Wow,
But
that's
it's a
really
whole nother.
deep because there's a known personality on YouTube named BGS. You said exactly what he just said,
Wow.
and you guys never met. That's crazy. And then after this whole thing, I mean, I really hope people really tune into this interview because again, they can't accuse you of making this stuff up.
Oh no, I lived
I'm telling you. So you guys heard it from the, was it the dragon's mouth?
it. I like it. I'm coining it.
You can have it, brother. Is you know, you take whatever, brother. Right. So I'm a so when you go, I guess unless you, I'm gonna invite some people on the panel, but you can take care of your business, do what you got to do. But I'm quite sure some people may want to comment, unless you want to still be here for a little bit to hear them comment on some of the things that they heard. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because this is some important stuff because I don't see how people can sleep at night or look at their children and not be worried about the stuff you just mentioned.
Man, let me tell you right now. Let me tell you, my son, and I look at him and my daughters, and I'm so concerned. And I'm just telling you, realistically, I pray to God, like, let me give them everything that they need. I don't want to say I fear it, but I would hate to leave them in this realm, in this world, you know what I mean, without the tools to survive because I barely made it. You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm,
Like,
mm-hmm.
and my son, he's an artist. It's like looking at him, I get to do it all over again. You know what I mean? I get to take what I experienced and give it to him, and he draws, and he already knows about the the agenda of the enemy. He already knows about masculinity, femininity, and androgynous. He understands all that now. He is 9 years old. I explained to him from a biblical point of view. He knows about the spirits, the demons, the agenda, because I got molested at 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's 9. So the enemy didn't wait with me. You know what I mean? I was targeted. And that's another discussion. You know what I mean? That's a whole nother discussion about preparation and targeting for, you know what I mean? For that. But that's a
Now the molestation, you talking male or female?
both.
Wow, two people,
2 people. No, this was maybe 6, 7 people.
7 people.
Yeah. So
Damn.
by the time I was like 7, I had probably had all kind of crazy sexual encounters. There was a so when I was younger, there was a sodomite ritual done on me. I was supposed to be a warlock,
What?
and it's a whole another. I would have to talk to you about religion. I would have to go into religion with you on
This was from church people.
that. Yep.
What?
Yeah, yeah. Eastern stars.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Well, when you get back, we gotta do that in that part too, and then try to be careful before we get followed. But we gotta, we gotta, we
Uh,
gotta, at least get some kind of information out there, and just for people to watch out and be careful.
awareness. People have to be aware and aware. And it's funny. I didn't. I found out through prayer. I didn't. It wasn't like I didn't discover this until 2000. How old am I now? Look, I don't even know how old I am. 30. 2000. This was 2015, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah. So because part of my memory from the trauma stuff that happened when I was younger, it's shattered. So it's hard. It was hard to go
You
back.
had to shut it. Yeah, it was a shutdown, right?
Yeah, yeah. So opening that stuff up, man, was like that was painful itself. You know what I mean? So
Good Lord.
had to go through and visit some stuff and get some answers to some things. But I came out mentally stable. You know what I mean? By the grace of God, I didn't snap, but I could have. I probably could have. But
Went over
you know,
over the edge.
yeah. And I've been there. I mean, and the edge is a place, boy. And I wouldn't want nobody to be.
Now we have Brother Zero and Brother Seven Project in there. I'm quite sure they wanted to either chime in or even ask you a few questions before you roll out.
Yeah,
Welcome,
yeah, yeah.
gentlemen.
I'm
Yeah, what's up?
Thank
Sorry,
you
a
for
little
having me.
loud in the
welcome,
back.
welcome.
Okay. So which one wants to go first?
I'll go first. It's actually interesting that a lot of the things that Dragon was saying, I've already had this conversation or spoke to already,
Uh-oh.
and I just want to
Can you
let
hear me?
you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
We
hear
can
you.
we can hear you.
Okay, I can't hear them. Okay.
You can't
I
you
didn't know if
can't
they were.
hear them?
They're talking right
Can you
now?
hear me now?
You probably have to go in and come back out, Jason.
Okay, let me go out and come back in.
Okay. Well, let me try to do it this way. Let me
Okay.
see. How about now?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear him.
Okay, I can hear the brother.
Okay.
Okay, good. All right.
Now, what I was saying is that I share a lot of his sentiment
Are they talking?
in the information that he was saying. You can hear me, Dragon?
You can't hear him?
No, no,
Oh
no.
man.
All right, hold
Can you
on.
hear
You might
me?
have to take me out.
I can hear him now. I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Say something
Yeah,
Okay.
again,
Okay.
Seven.
Test, test, test.
he went out.
You didn't hear him say
Okay.
test?
Okay, I can hear him now.
Okay.
No,
I think you might be able to hear
that's
me. You might
zero.
not. I think you might be able to hear me. You might not be able to hear him.
Okay, so
Okay.
go out and come back in, Jason,
All right.
so we can have it like a full type thing in there. But I'm quite sure, for people that are out there, I'm quite sure they felt that this stuff had to be deep. I'm shocked I only got 8 people here, but I'm quite sure I appreciate everybody
Yeah.
for coming out, man. But that
Yeah.
was
I'm
like probably
surprised
one.
too.
I was waiting, man. Soon as you put the announcement out, I was already there. I was like, come on,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. I looked at the title of it. I was like, yes. I had watched that movie Rise like about like a million times, and I actually took a lot of my style crumping from like watching them and knowing the story behind it. Them telling it. So I was able to kind of connect with the style of dance.
Yeah, that's huge. You know what I
And
mean?
Art, you wanna hear something crazy?
Go ahead.
You ever watched the movie A Bug's Life?
Yeah. He matter of fact, he watched it in my class.
Now, you know the scene where the grasshoppers are talking about the ants, and they're pretty much they're congregating and joking, and the general is like, "Oh, let's just pretend that this grain is a puny little ant," and he's throwing it at them. He's like, "Oh, did that hurt?" And they're like, "Come on, are you kidding me?" And then he busts
Hello.
the conduit to all the grains, and it just topples all of them. And he says to them, "You let one ant stand up, and then they'll all stand up. Those ants outnumber us 1,000,000,000 to 1."
Wow.
And the minute they recognize that there goes our way of life. It's not about food, it's about keeping the ants in line. And it's funny because that was one of my talking points to my next video that I was telling you I was working on. And I was just like, huh, are we still talking about ants though?
Can y'all hear me?
Ancestry. But go ahead, um, Jason. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. I'm in. I didn't hear what you were saying. I know I heard the telling of Ants. I think I talked that movie Ants.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
You guys were watching that movie when we first got those Emacs.
yeah.
Had
yeah.
some free videos. But go ahead, Seven, to tell him what you were, or actually share what you were trying to tell him.
Well, what I was gonna tell him is that, I share a lot of same sentiment that he has in terms of the way he's viewing the way the world is going to be shaped in the coming years with
hmm
the generation. And
hmm
I've already had some of these conversations within my inner circle already. And it's interesting just hearing the confirmation come from another like mind, And I know you said you don't need anyone to tell you that you're awesome or anything like that, but I just wanted to say that that I'm proud of you in your growth, maturity, and ability to pay it forward. You know,
Okay. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
because it's a breath of fresh air to even get the opportunity to hear another brother speak on such a high level.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, man. It's like I feel like it was it's my life. I used to look at it as like, whoa, all this happened to me and I missed this. And I just think I've been maneuvered strategically by God, to help protect and to help warn, for whatever time that I'm here, to do my job and pass the baton and pay it forward so that the next generation of kings that need to come forward, can their assassination attempts can be thwarted like mine was.
I understand. I agree.
Okay, brother Zero.
Yeah, yeah, brother. It's great to talk to you because, like, I like based a lot of like, like I learned some of like what I do Krumping, like from like checking out the Rise movie and like understanding the history behind it and all that. Because I'm a dancer. I mean, my first style was actually locking, so like I just kind of like learn different styles. But I mean, it's just like when I do it, I feel like I feel that same energy that y'all might have felt when y'all were doing it.
Yeah, yeah. It's like in the movie I talk about the us. I should say there's a spirit in the midst of it. And you can feel it. I used to feel it. You know, come upon me. I learned later. It was just the Holy Spirit. It was to bring people to unity. That's all. You know what I mean? And I believe like dance is a language. Of course, we communicate through dance and things like that. And it's just a way to communicate without those that don't understand the language, so they can't so that those that don't understand the language won't get the message. And when you feel it, you feel it. You know, it's something. It's something not from this world. That's all I can say.
Yeah, yeah, it's like when I dance with like a particular style, and I know like the certain type of music that like birth that style. Like it's like almost like I can feel like the era within me, when I'm dancing that particular style. If you,
Yeah, and it's actually like evolved. It's evolved as far as technicality goes. You know, it's like the person that invented the first phone is probably looking at what we have now. Like, what is this? It has the same purpose. It just comes with more convenience and things like that. So even the dance style itself, from what you probably saw back then, is is different than it is now. It is different.
yeah,
And then what because of that, a lot of the essence has been squeezed out of it. You know what I mean? So you
yeah,
have those that are still around that are keepers of the essence, like myself and others in the movement.
yeah. I mean, like Crump, like Lock it like Crump, like a lot of people can really keep the essence of it, like what it originally was, supposed to be and how to move forward. I usually see. I mean, cause like with like locking, you kind of need to be like in a childlike, childlike. You have the childlike innocence sort of to
Yeah,
really
yeah,
do it. So it's
yeah,
like a lot of people don't really have it. And like a lot of people will probably take more to pop it because it's a lot easier. You don't necessarily have to have that as far as that. So like doing crumping, like you'll see like, I mean I've seen like b boys try to like really try to crumple. Let's say really understand it. It's like if
uh-huh.
they just doing it, they'll just try to make it like tough because they try to make it fit the style of b-boy, which is more aggressive. And like
Yeah,
lock is not aggressive.
yeah, yeah. So like with the aggression, like with Crump, there's aggression. Like I
Yeah,
I brought a lot of that aggression like to the max in the movement, but I brought that because of expression and healing. So then you have a lot of people that try to emulate that. I mean, because you have b boys, lockers. There's been clashes going on. I mean, brothers, Tight Eyes, Miho, like Little C, Prissy, they've done a good job at pioneering into the dance world with the dance. They've broken ground in different. They've gone into the industry. You got So You Think You Can Dance. They've gone in and protected the essence, but then you have it being manufactured by those that didn't originate it. You have people that are teaching classes and workshops on Crump, and it's not us. You know what I mean? And that's the crazy thing. It's not us.
yeah,
We had nothing to
yeah.
do with it.
I've seen it. I've seen it a lot. Like I've seen people, like teach certain styles and not really, that great in them. They kind of know it, but they really don't.
Yeah, and they
Do you
make him.
think?
They're making money off of it and becoming
Yeah.
popular for it, but then the essence is not getting spread.
So do
Right.
you think that the I guess the powers that be is making sure that there will never be another crumping or a locking or a popping anymore? They're trying to just keep it so that things will just die out completely in our culture.
I don't think it is any of those styles actually die out. I think they'll just keep.
You're not
I
listen to
mean,
me again, Zero.
okay, go ahead.
Do you
Go
think that
ahead.
they are trying to make
Oh
sure?
yeah. Well, I mean, I guess they could try, but I don't think it's gonna be successful.
Okay.
My
Yeah,
bad, bro.
I believe as long as like as we are alive, it's like history, you know. If those who are there, same thing with the Gospels, if those who are there don't get the credible witnesses, don't get authentic documentation of what happened, the story will change. So even with Crump, the story has changed of its origin several times. It is because that's the fight over how did it start, how did it, and it's just because of credibility. You know what I mean? Um, Credibility, the fight for power. The story changes, but those that were there, those that experienced it, let them tell the story, not those that what I mean, that heard. Let those who were there tell it.
So that's it. So now, now we're getting somewhere on some of this. So now it's to the powers that be's best interest for the people that were there not to be there, so that someone else can change the narrative.
Yeah, yeah. So like, um, like most people don't even know. I mean, like I said, I talked to a lot of people like on my part. Like I can only speak on the history from my part. Just like again, we had the Gospels. You have four different accounts of people who experience, encounter Christ. One person is saying this way. They're all saying the same thing, but they're saying it in their language. From their point of view, and you have different points of views that are edited out, and then the story kind of gets twisted. So the powers that be, whatever they're doing is, like I've had to fight against I've actually just kind of walked away from the whole culture, what I mean? But then feeling like, man, I'm a father in this. If I, because I left from like 2008, came back, left again, came back. It was just like, you know, it was just difficult seeing what it had become. What I mean? It's like you leave your house. Just say, for instance, like your father, you and your wife divorce or something like that, or you and your wife separate. You come back and you see what's going on with your kids. They don't even know you. They don't, what I mean? It's like, oh my God. And so it's just hard to be there. What I mean? So I've had to fight against, because I'm looking at what it's become now. And I'm like, this is so far from the original purpose. What are you guys doing? What I mean? And then I don't want to become, because at times it makes me that angry, that anger that I used to have comes up, because this is again, it's a protecting, that protecting aspect.
Hmm.
And, being a preacher and all that I've accomplished, I don't want people to see that angry side of me, but it's like, so it's difficult. I mean, jostling with that.
Sounds like the
Wow.
game Telephone.
You said telephone. Yeah.
Yeah, to stray away from the original message. It's like by the time it gets back to you, like that's not anything close to what I said. But all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it just seems like when you like turn your back and not really paying attention what's happening, that's when they get you the best. They get you the most severe.
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting a lot of people. We had a panel yesterday, and we get a lot of people that's trying to say what is important and what is not important. And when that
Well,
stuff happens like that on large, in large numbers, I mean, everything that you work hard for or everything that you're trying to protect is gone or
wow.
stolen,
Wow.
you know. And you're a millennial, and you're actually not just a millennial, but you're a millennial that pretty much pioneered something, and they're literally trying to phase you out and come up with a
Yeah.
different narrative.
Man, that's exactly what's going on. That is exactly that's exactly what's going on.
So this is the stuff that I've been saying that some of the younger folks be trying to talk about how not important it is. You are the living proof in this younger generation that's still living this experience.
You just gave me a flashback from yesterday.
Exactly. But you see what
Yeah.
happened, Seven? This is we keep being
Yeah, I told you when there's no father figure or like original example, there's room to implant falsehood. And then once you implant the falsehood, it's just like, nah, that's what it is now because this is what was handed to me. I
hmm
have this, you know, I'm
hmm
gonna protect it. And they covet it and protect it with all their being. And it's just so sad to see that it's gonna be done on such a wide scale, you know?
Yeah. So if it was up to those people that we dealt with yesterday, Dragon wouldn't even exist because
Yeah, because it's not important. They don't feel like they don't feel like what he went through. It was their experience, so that means it didn't happen to them.
exactly
You
this is
know?
what we're dealing with. This is what we're
Wow.
dealing with, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be quiet on this kind of stuff because the man worked hours. He did the work. He went through the different experiences and stuff like that. So out of respect, we should be able to at least, pay kudos for all the things that he has done that other people didn't feel like doing, and then at least be a support system of things that he may need to go forward.
Exactly. And then the interesting part is when you call them out on their foolishness after they themselves realize that they were foolish, they still try to double back and justify what they were saying.
Yeah,
You know, and that's the insanity. It's like, oh, I feel like I can squeeze some water out of this brick. You know, it's just dry, but I feel like if I squeeze it hard enough, there's some water gonna come out. You know.
and I know you guys are wondering what is he talking about. We had a panel, and we were going. I guess the whole question to me was what should be the number one priority of I guess it was it black males or something
Uh-huh.
in our community. And I said straight up masculinity. That you got to rebuild that. That's what I said. And so I guess the argument was they got something about you pro blacks and you pro blacks. These little catchphrases. And then they tried to say that a fact that a white man would buy somebody's house in a black neighborhood to declare it as a landmark. I'm just making it short. That white man would be considered pro-black.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's what.
But I wanted to get to when they talked about the educational system and the fact that you literally were about to explain, and there was no knowledge of your district. There was no knowledge of where you're teaching, or they literally try to defame and denounce the amount of years you put in the field because of feelings.
Yeah, because I guess they were going into the whole thing about the narrative about black folks. This is in BMT's panel, so I'm giving him the credit. Just listen to his last live stream. But they were really going in on, you know, black folks should be just as good as Asians, and it doesn't matter about culture and resources and stuff like that. Black people just making excuses, stuff like that, especially the pro blacks, that kind of stuff. And I was telling them that the majority, and Jason, the majority of our students in these districts are from group homes. A lot of them in
Oh,
group homes. And so when you put that in there, it's not going to be equal. He's here. It's not as equal as the Asians. You have a whole bunch of these things in our neighborhood, so we can't say that those kids have the same opportunities as the Asians because you have a whole bunch of other things in the way. And then when you're talking about inner city schools, a lot of the inner city schools have very bad resources, bad conditions, a lot of different things going on. So for them blanket statements, I had to say a little something. I didn't get to say it last night though. But we got BMT up in here as well, your fellow millennial. We were talking a lot about
Damn,
your
BMT.
panel.
Pull up to the show.
Yeah, what's going
So
on,
we,
y'all?
we
What up,
spoke
bro?
him up.
What's up?
Hope he don't have a hangover though.
Who, me? Nah. Sorry, I don't get hangovers. I wish I did, but I just don't. So, I just don't. But yeah.
We're talking about your pro black German.
Oh, him.
The pro
Yeah.
black German.
Oh
Uh,
my goodness.
yeah. Literally, they had a breakdown at synapses on a lot of these black channels, and they had a breakdown synapses. I sat there. I said, "Okay, guys, I gotta go. I have to go. I can only do so much." And after that, some of them were like, "Oh, this just sound like." I'm like, "Listen, you bitch. They can bitch. Everybody has a right to bitch. I just don't. Hell, right now the females are going in, trying to figure out about goddamn SYS. I wish I never showed black women off YouTube SYSBM, but they think now they think they all suspect. So yeah, so
Uh-oh.
it's very interesting how the powers that be. But that's what I plan on doing. I plan on opening up the floodgates of this bubble that has been created, so that way to let the whole world know. So that way y'all will probably get more Zardells in y'all channel, which he's literally he's bringing around so many people to y'all channel. I think it's good, but also very interesting. But he's going to have that type of mindset. So,
Well,
he's
he's going to be my support system. I don't know about the millennials though. He's going to go in hard on the millennials. I'm
I'm
telling
looking forward to it, man.
I said.
I mean,
That's
we're
what me
close
and
in age. We're close in age, so I could have that conversation with him. I
Yeah.
mean, the thing is, I've dealt with people within that mindset already. I mean, I guess he thinks he's the only one I talk to. I have a whole bunch of them literally right outside, that I speak to on a daily basis.
So the thing about it is, with the way that young men and women like him, because that's a portion of my audience, a good portion of my audience. Hell, y'all even started to see white people start to come in there and watch, and they started to comment on different stuff. What do you think? How you think that's going to deal with somebody who is from that timeline, or have the experience of that timeline, or somebody says, "Hey, this happened to me in the community," and they're like, "I don't give a shit. Why are you telling me?" Like that.
I
That means
told you,
nothing.
what are they looking for? BMT. Remember, what are they looking for?
I don't want to say it like that.
If you talk about Jesus, they want you to do. They want you to take them to Nazareth.
Like, yes, like I said, because the only thing, and I had a talk with Ardell, and so that's why I couldn't hold it aside when I said, Ardell, you can't say one thing on one panel about I give 2 cents of a damn about the community, but then all of a sudden, then you believe in the Bible. But then you don't believe in one book, but you believe in another book. You don't believe in one belief, but then you believe in the whole. I don't ever try to play absolute all the times, because I don't know how you solved the math problem. You said I don't know how you saw. Well, because everybody solved the math problem different. Some people use their fingers. Some people can just do it in their head. Some people literally have to write it out on the paper. You saw the math problem still got done, but we all solved it 3 different ways. So there's never an absolute way on doing a problem. People have different methods of how to get it done. Only thing, like I said, only thing I did have to step in was I was like, I can't let you. That's the first time I heard somebody straight up just tell Art, I don't care. After he told I have 24 years in teaching. So I don't care.
Yeah,
What that
I didn't like that.
God. Okay. We got to stop.
I had to step in. That's why I had to step in. And when he started to get triggered and was like, I'm not gonna let you talk to me like that, it was just like, you see, that's what you wanted from me, but I gave it to you. The thing is, I understand when you don't accept a gift from someone, whether it's positive or negative, who does it belong to?
Yeah.
So I get that. So when basically, even when he went into the chat, he was saying that, oh, when I was explaining like my line of work, he was like, yo, you could come work on my fryer and my barbecue instead, make that energy efficient. Like trying to poke the bear. And I don't know
Whoa.
if he was trying to spring some emotion out of me. So that's why I asked him, where are you based at? I don't mind giving you free consultation, but barbecue's not my thing. So I'm able to dodge all of those laser beams. I mean, he is very cunning. I give him that. you know However, we're close in age, so I've seen the techniques that they use all the time.
So what? So in light of all that, what do you think is going to be the cog mindset?
The cog mindset is going to be, and honestly, it's sad because as long as there's an idea that can be placed upon them and is provided something tangible, even if it's falsehood, they will adopt it as doctrine,
Well,
and that's a problem.
okay, that's fair. And I mean, I get you're saying that's a problem, and that's why I said the talking points. Because mind you, let's look at it. The black community is the black African American community is the smallest in the U.S.
Oh yeah.
Okay, your ideologies, the mindset, I guess whatever of culture that's left, different things, whether people want to admit it or not, but Zardel is is going to be your last son of Krypton.
But this is what I was trying to say, though, is that if you're going to deal with someone like him and he asks for something of substance, you got to be ready to give it to him. You
Yep,
can't just say, go
Exactly.
research it.
you can't. I'm just saying. I'm being honest, and that's what, I that's why I understood you wholeheartedly, Art. You ain't gonna be able to bullshit a guy like Zardel. You just ain't. Y'all, you listen, all that nice words, calling out dates and all that shit. He ain't gonna give a that type of man. He's gonna be like, listen, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. I done been through it. I don't give a shit about your struggle. That's not my problem. Like and see that literally is, and that's why remember we made that inference about the music industry where we have the old artists versus the new artists. So when somebody says, well, you got to pay homage to Nat King Cole. Who? Nigga, this is my beat. This is my song. This is my stage.
That would be their downfall.
But then they're gonna say, well, hold up. But the loop in the beat you're using is his. Okay, but I paid for it. So I paid my due. I don't owe him shit. And I'm saying I'm being so for real. I literally, and I told you, I sat in the booth, and remember I told you about my the old school that we had in there, and he didn't even have to look at the notes. He just played it, free verse right off the right on the guitar.
No, but that was that's the thing. He's older though. That's the thing, and he's able to produce something that's of greatness. Versus the guy that was mad and left. What, did he leave the studio, or he was just mad?
No, we had to kick him out because he wanted to
be disrespectful.
Yeah, he started getting too disrespectful, and
the question is, why do you think he got disrespectful though? And I hope Jason can hear this.
The reason why he got disrespectful because he felt like I know everything, even though the old school just said that you don't know everything. I'm telling you,
keywords.
I'm telling you what you think you're doing, or what you think you heard, or that sample, what you think you got. This is the actual way how it's done. In the way how he played it, it was a lot more crisp. Where me and the producer said, "We'll take that. We'll take that one. Just put him in there. Let's record it." And he felt slighted. He felt slighted. He was like, "Hold up, motherfucker! I made this beat and all this shit. You know, it sound." He said, "No, we like that on the guitar. We can take that and clean it up more, make sure it's nice and sharp, and we can use that in the background." So he felt a certain type of way about that. So he wanted to fight him, like throw hands at him.
See, so that's the thing that that part about a person thinking that they're equivalent to a person paying their dues. I think they don't know what paying their dues really meant. The fact that you're making money and doing all those kind of things, that's not paying dues. You might as well say, if that's the case, Lil Wayne is equal to a Rakim. It's not the case. It's just a matter of being at a certain place at the right time for a Lil Wayne, even though he went through. Put it this way, we got we got Arthur Forty here. Bam. Put it this way, Rakim. I mean, y'all heard of Rock. Everybody on here, we're gonna say everybody heard of Rakim.
Yep.
Yep.
Plus, he's pretty much one of the top 5 on most people's lists. Okay. Now, would you say that Rakim went through all the back room violating, tattoos, lean, all these different things just to be successful, or did he just did he have his talent to get him where he had to go?
Yeah, talent.
He had talent, and he didn't have to swear in his words. He didn't have to swear in his verses and stuff.
And he didn't have to come up with a gimmick.
Nope.
Or he didn't get kissed in the lips by Baby, and I'm just saying.
As a matter of fact, he's still making music. He did like the King's Paradise with Luke Cage and performed it on the season finale of season 2 or 3.
The reason why I'm using Lil Wayne is because he's considered one of your successful guys in hip hop, right?
Right.
I mean, he's up there. I mean, a lot of people really still admire this man. But would you compare Lil Wayne's paying dues with Rakim's paying dues?
Nope, absolutely not.
No.
So when a young person says, "Hey, I paid my dues, old man. You can't tell me blah blah blah," it's like, huh? Because Lil Wayne is, I mean, by far, Lil Wayne is still making way more money than Rakim, hands down. But where's the dues? As far as the whole, I'm gonna have that more than such and such. I mean, where's the dues?
Right.
And this is not. And my whole thing is that paying dues is not always about you being old. You know what I mean? We got Smitty up in here. Bam. Yeah, paying dues is not about you being old. It's about all the things that you had to go through to be great. Like Dragon here on the panel. He described all the things he had to do to get where he had to go. And on top of that, he didn't give in to all the other pressures and things that he was presented by, but he's still considered one of the guys that paid the dues for Krumping.
By question, tell Tight Eyes I said hello. Say tell him crazy Jade said hello. He'll know what it is. Tell Tight Eyes I said hello.
From South Carolina.
Yeah, listen. Before a lot of people knew about Krumping, yeah, and a lot because I was watching those guys. I don't get me wrong, I thought some of them were crazy as fuck too. But then the guy said, you know what? I like these guys. But it was their expression of dance, and it was them showing a lot of their stuff. I think it was just their outlet, just dealing with stuff. So I watched a lot of those guys before doggone what's that dude's name? Chris Brown came around, and I guess that's when it jumped more so on stages and shit. But yeah,
that's crazy.
There was a lot of young guys doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, kind of like what like the people, y'all did with Krumping, like kind of like the guys in Memphis have like their style of dancing called Memphis Juke. I mean, those like probably different philosophies behind each style, but it was like that's their own particular style of dance, and I think like your next style of dance is like probably starting to get get more getting known. I don't know if it's nationwide yet, but
Krumping.
no, Memphis Juki.
It's actually been seen on a few shows, TV shows. Um, I've seen it in a few dances. I think I've seen it at only like two-step shows. It's slowly getting there. Um, like I said, and I know exactly what you're talking about. Uh, I think the thing about it is, on a lot of these things are done or seen, and then you'll see somebody do it like on a bigger stage, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, this is the BMT juke," and you'll have the originators saying like, "No, like that's not. That is actually that's our shit." And they'll have to showcase. And I think that was a big thing that happened on Fortnite and different other mainstream things that had been appropriated or white appropriated. There black you had art, you had rappers and dancers, back then when you see like the crip walk and different stuff, they were like, "Oh, whoa. Y'all are charging people for that, then pay me my money." Oh, no, we don't have to pay you. No. These guys right here that are wearing them Tims and getting blisters and all that shit and doing all that stuff because they're enjoying that and people are recording it. And then this guy right here in the office who doesn't do that or not from their diverse background takes that same thing and makes money off of it. But you won't pay
Yeah,
homage to where it originated from.
Yeah,
So
that's what
that's
makes
and
it
so
go down.
yeah. Sometimes sometimes they won't pay you. If you perform one. Because I remember I performed at the Ryman Auditorium like 4 years ago, and they were supposed to pay us. They asked for us, and then like last minute, it was like, oh well, we not gonna pay you. I was like, I mean, we still did the show because like the Ryman, but we weren't happy about it. I mean, but they were trying to make all these demands and stuff. Like, y'all not paying us. You lucky we still doing this, and we were the best show there.
mm-hmm.
But that's what I was trying to get at is that,
Yeah,
when the older person is going back at a younger person about paying their dues, and I don't think it's a sunning technique or a belittling type or
right.
shaming. It's more of like, for example, I asked this if somebody can come behind Krumping and infiltrate it and even try to steal it and say it's theirs, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And the thing is, a person that's paying their dues don't have a reason to steal anything. And also, a person that's paid their dues, you can't even take it can't take it from you. It's that great. So I can't equivalate paying your dues by just making money.
Right.
'Cause that's usually, it seems like that's the young man's antidote of showing that I succeeded. Because
Yeah. I
hell,
mean,
you can make it and you can lose it, but you can't lose your talent.
yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, because definitely in the underground, it's like they don't care how much money you make if you ain't show that you really you really earn like that amount of respect. Sure, they be like, look at you like, yeah, you getting paid, but it's like you ain't you didn't really earn it.
Yeah,
Earn respect that you got.
yeah.
It's
So
like you
we,
just
we
happen to
gotta
get paid off of.
re-educate that part because that's important. Because hell, if that was the case though, the fact that they were able to make money, hell, there'd be no crumping.
Yeah.
right,
There'd be no crumping, man. Right?
Right.
exactly.
We got I'm gonna let you guys know. There's a person there that I met at a store. I'm gonna bring them up one day. We're gonna talk about they have a company that they're trying to share with us, and it's called Little Pudding. Can you put your website or your information in my chat, Shanti? I want to talk. I really want to start really promoting people's businesses.
True.
Especially if they're really trying to start, because we don't do enough of that.
Right.
And I'm sorry, Shanti, for not getting with you guys that soon, but but yeah, there's a lot of businesses that we just don't plug up. So the fact that you probably would put their business on your platform, it'll probably get them about 10 extra customers or 20 extra customers. You know, you want to keep money in each other's pocket because I mean, you're probably the most quoted person the last couple of days, BMT. One of the things that is very important is that we have to start really trying to fight that whole hater mentality and jealousy of keeping people from making it just because you ain't making it. You know,
Yep.
we gotta stop that. Matter of fact, we can't even afford to do that anymore. It ain't Q anymore. I don't even think it sell records.
No, it don't.
No.
It don't. And I think the thing about it, and I'm gonna tell y'all, like these types of panels, and holistically, I'm very protective of art. I'm very protective of a brother like Art because the panels or the places where people want to go to have peace, to try to actually just say, hey man, I'm not here to fight. I just need understanding on why it is that it is. And it's more so easy to hate. But I was gonna do a little skit of the Jedi. I'm not sure if y'all are Star Wars fans, where
I am.
Luke talks to the Emperor himself, and he keeps looking at the lightsaber, and the Emperor is like, I can feel your hatred. Just go ahead and grab it and strike me down. Like, just do it. And once you cross that line of striking me down, how far else you gonna go? Because once you start down that path and you see some of these people, some individuals that y'all brothers gotta be careful around, they like it when you react and give that type of energy.
Oh yeah.
Because once you start, they'll keep on pulling you to do that. Only time they want you to come around, so that way you can take the negative energy. And when you're gone, you say, yo, that guy's crazy. You know, that guy's this and that. They'll fall and they'll play the line, they'll play the part. And I remember I had this one guy, he said, yo, man, every time I come around, everybody's fucking with me. I said, I want you to do this. Sit by me. And I put a rubber band on his wrist. And I said, I want you, every time somebody tries to get a rise out of you, I'm going to pull that rubber band and pop you. And I want you to count it. After a while, before the end of that day, he said, yo, you popped me 75 times, my G. And I said, now how did that make you feel? Now, these are supposed to be your boys. They were trying to get a rise out of you in front of these females. How many females were sitting by you trying to talk to you? They wanted you to be that angry build so that way they could be that savior. So that way they could be that guy. That way they could be, so long as you, black man, keep on being that narrative of that what they want you to be, you won't ever have peace. Why would I hate on a brother like Art? Because he has a gift. Why would I hate on a brother like Seventh or Dragon or any of y'all who have gifts? Just because my day ain't come, my shine hasn't come. Y'all saw what happened to Tyler the Creator and what's that dude? We the Best, DJ Khaled. DJ Khaled has a bigger following. Heck, he has Jay-Z. He had everybody on his side. But that one boy, that one young man, I ain't calling him no boy, excuse me, I ain't need to son him. He beat him and outsold him. And he said, yo, I didn't even, he said, I'm so humbled that I actually won something. Why y'all hating on me? I just only won one thing. Y'all always winning.
I'm glad you mentioned that, just because, and that's one of the things that we're not really understanding, that not enough of our young brothers have something that they can say that they won. The only thing that they probably say that they won is maybe the girl or
Video
a
game.
low paying job. Yeah, video games. That's their achievement. And the girl that they won, it wasn't the one that they're supposed to have in the first place. You know, it was just something that you just put on some clothes and said some lies, and you just happen to win her over. But that wasn't, you know. The thing is that we don't have too many things for our little brothers to say, hey, you won first place in this. You know, this is your achievement. I mean, the best we can probably have was what, sports.
Yep.
But hell, damn that, these days everybody gets a trophy.
Yeah. Yeah, they sure enough do. Even the losers get trophies now. And I mean, shit.
You get a medal. You get a medal. Everybody gets a medal.
Fired.
But,
You're fired.
but it's like that now because now I think one boy screamed out at the graduation last year. He said, I'm tired of everybody getting the effing trophy. Now this boy's only 13 years old.
Dang.
But he just screamed. He said, I'm tired of everybody getting the fucking trophy except me.
Wow.
Everybody, I mean, cameras and everything was rolling. Everybody just stopped and looked at him. But those tears from his face were real. They were real. He said, I busted my ass hard. All I got was the C's and D's and stuff. And I mean, granted, I get it. I know what it's like to be a loser. I'm not afraid to tell y'all that. But those scars are my experience for why I wanted to try harder. You know, the best experience is loss. Any y'all ever heard that? And the best experience is loss?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fail is the first attempt in learning, brother.
You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of black men, y'all feel y'all should have got that female the first time. Y'all feel like y'all should have been included. Y'all should have been accepted. But if that was your path, then you would have got it at that time.
Yep.
I'm just being for real, man. Listen, bro. Y'all taking from me. Listen, man. I ain't nobody. I ain't shit. Listen. BMT ain't nobody. Y'all ain't gotta listen to me. I'm talking to listen. I'm that ugly Negro. I ain't got nothing to prove to y'all. But I'm gonna tell y'all right now, man. I worked hard and busted my ass. Man. I worked hard. I lost 2 children. I lost my lover. I've taken a lot of losses in life. That's why when I hear a lot of y'all black men, when y'all come on there, I don't speak down on y'all, but all I can say is, did you give up? Did you stop trying? When you got divorced, did you give up on wanting to still be loved? When you got fired, did you go look for another job or two? When you got kicked out of that place, did you go apply for another apartment? When you lost that, like I keep asking men, did you keep on fighting? You lost that one war, but that didn't mean you lost all of them. You ain't gonna always get accepted. That is the stoic blessing of being a black man. Be prepared to get punched in the face, but are you going to come back with a counter?
Absolutely.
That's on. Like I said, man. I speak to y'all like men. I ain't got no time to sugarcoat y'all.
Yeah. So that's my whole thing, man. I know I'm probably gonna be hated, but who cares? We need the brothers to be the winners.
Yep.
Brothers gotta win. And even if you're a loser, you still gotta be a winner. You gotta be a winner at losing. If that makes sense.
I think I know where you're going with it.
Because that's the thing. You keep walking around with this false courage and this false persona. Somebody's gonna always find some kind of combination to just chop you down. Easy. And the thing is, you can do so much behind these computer screens. Right. You can only do so much. But the thing that you have to realize is that if you're around a whole bunch of losers that you made losers, guess what's gonna happen to you?
You'll become a loser.
You're gonna be part of the group.
Yeah.
People don't understand that.
Uh,
You know, your actual hands created a loser just because of how you felt.
mhm.
I felt a certain way, so I'm going to make him lose.
Yeah, I've heard like a similar thing, like where it said like if you live around people who are, say if you live around people who are successful, then you're gonna want to be successful because you see them being successful, and I guess I guess it's like you don't want to be left out. You don't want to be the only one not being successful while they being successful. So it makes you want to work harder. You know, I think it's like said that's that synergy happening there.
Yeah. I mean, that's the
Mhm.
thing. If you're in a space full of people that knows things that you don't know, sit
Yeah,
around, listen, ask questions. That's it. I mean, the whole thing is that okay, say for example, you're in that group and everybody's talking a whole bunch of stuff that you don't know, like a black brain crush or something like that. Listen first. Then later on, you start getting schooled, then you're like, man, I got some idea. Let me go over there and speak. You got to be able to contribute to the greatness of your people instead of pulling it down because you're just
Mm,
feeling a certain way.
right. I
I'm
mean,
kind of getting tired of seeing it, even though I can't do much about it. But
right.
I'm getting worn out just looking at that kind of thing, and it's so easy
Yeah,
here on our YouTube.
Not
Notice
art. I
I'm
yeah,
not
don't
going to
feel
be
like
saying.
I don't feel
Go
like
ahead.
what you're saying. I don't not art. I don't feel like what you're saying holds any merit. That's not my opinion. So everything you just said is invalid.
mm,
You forgot to say, yeah, exactly. You said feel. That's the thing is I'm just sitting there like, I'm just gonna continue to do what I'm doing. Just trying to just find a because I can't do it all the time,
Right.
but I always find an opportunity to put something in there to give them a shot in the arm so they can just be on top.
yeah,
What's
Repetition
wrong with
works.
that?
yeah. I never understood like the whole like haters mentality because like it's like how I always approach it. Like, yeah, some are doing great. It's like how they say, okay, that person's doing great. All right, cool for them. That's great. Now now like even though I made it, hey, I'm happy for you. I'm gonna go try to. I'm gonna come right behind you. I'm gonna try my best to come right behind you. Sure, because you can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah, friendly conversation is great. I mean, competition.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that too. You know, I mean, I'm always inspired by that. I mean, I'm not into
Yeah,
competition per se,
yeah.
but
I'm not either. But I mean, if I see somebody doing well, it gotta. I mean, it motivates me too, and I mean, I motivate people too. Now, whether or not they take motivation, that's a whole different thing. But you know,
yeah, because maybe that's the Leo in me. I just can't stand to see weak brothers.
Mm.
I don't like to see them on the side of the road. I don't like to see them just like I rather for them to be standing tall and doing the best ever. That's what gives me motivation to keep moving forward. It's almost like you're in a plane. Okay, I'm gonna give you the concept real quick. This to see a brother that's probably got some muscles, got some size on him, acting like a so-called bitch with all that masculinity that's just like bottled up. It's almost like riding in a plane as a passenger and looking at your pilot asleep, and you don't even know if you're going to land safely or not.
wow.
Oh boy.
That's my issue. It's
Like,
like if these brothers are so weak, when it's time to really, when things start hitting the fan, who's going to be around? Who's going to be around to really, put the pedal to the metal?
mhm.
Right.
Well, I mean, we hearing now, and I mean, this is no slight thing to it, but when I be hearing black men say, "Don't get married, don't have a family," and this is no cut to any of y'all brothers now. I find it interesting, and this is the only thing I say. If you're ready for that call, you're ready. If you're not, take your time. Take,
Hmm.
take your time. I'm not rushing no man to that, but that's a huge responsibility. It's a huge responsibility to take on when you have a little mouth to feed and they're looking at you, not the world, you saying, I'm hungry, I'm cold, I'm scared. That is the time where you either put up or shut up. That's the time when your masculinity card is being put on like, oh shit, I gotta be on game. The first thing that they wanted to do was take you out of the role of being that figure. And I sometimes I be wondering about black men, like, and why are we now saying that don't have a family? Why?
Because the inner marriage hasn't happened yet. What they're talking about is the outer the outer marriage, which is being married to an individual, but the inner marriage has never happened. So what happens is a lot of brothers get into the outer marriage without the inner marriage happening first. And then when they run into treacherous waters, the first thing they do is get out the pool. And then they tell everybody how bad it was.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair.
Discouraging.
But I just asking, how many of us have come from a fractured or broken, some type of broken background? How many of us here? That's
Probably
pretty much,
about 80% or
okay.
85%.
Yeah.
So, I mean, no offense, man, but I already got the 3 strikes against me. I already got I'm doomed at 90%, and the world's falling and all the shit. What the fuck else I got to lose? I mean, I'm already negative. I might as well take whatever chips I got and cash it. Because whether I get a family or not, I'm still told that I'm a failure by this world. So shit, I'd rather y'all look at my black ass even after I'm dead and gone when you see my kid. That's just me. Like you didn't want me to have a family back then. You don't want me to have it now. Now I got a black man saying don't have a family. I'm like, Negro, you crazy as fuck. Nah. Like,
I mean, it's fear. Most of that stuff is, like you said, it's fear, man. They're afraid because if you're able to, walk down that path, I don't care if your business is straight, your capital is great or whatever, you still going to have some level of ratchetness in your choice.
Mm-hmm.
You're still gonna have it. So the thing is, if you're gonna wait till you old, good luck with that one. Because you banged about a whole bunch of women that really don't really deserve your energy.
Yep.
You're gonna finally settle down with some chick at what, 55, 60?
Hell no. I'm just saying, man, when some of y'all talking about at 45, 50, a man can still have a child. No, but listen, bro. No, listen. I'm trying. Let me say, listen to us who have children. Nobody want to chase after no damn baby. Nobody feel like getting up at night at 45 years old to change no damn diaper. Listen, I'd rather get this shit done and just
now.
I had my son. My son was born when I was in my 30s, and I thought that was kind of old.
I'm just saying, man, like, I don't want to wait. I do not want to listen. Y'all trying to have kids at 50, bro. That's when I'm trying to plan a trip to goddamn Bermuda. Goddamn other. I'm trying to talk to the old lady. Like, listen, let's go walk naked on the beach or some crazy shit. I'm not trying to chase after no damn toddler. Y'all, look, I'm just trying to let y'all know, man. It's not going to get any easier. Whatever you're trying to plan it out. There is no. I think that's the thing about it, that it's a love and a hate. When you have a family, it's like an uncertainty of being at sea. And all of us brothers, we could tell y'all, shit. I mean, before I even had a family, I was homeless twice. And I mean, shit, I bounced back, baby. 7, I believe you said you was homeless.
Yeah.
So I mean, shit, we doing good, brothers here. We all going through some shit, man.
Of course,
but we made it. I don't know why is it that now, and I'm not calling no brother no loser, but why is it so much? I'm hearing more so of fear, and I ask anybody, if I'm hearing more of fear rather than encouragement of go out there and try.
Yeah, and if you notice, I mean, I'm just gonna, like on the other side of it, I can't blame them too much either, because they saw what some of the older people have went through.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying last night. So their view is going to be a little bit more extreme, because they see the court battles and just the whole ratchetness period, and they're just kind of, if you think about it, they're kind of internalizing and imagining how it's going to be when they settle down. So this stuff is projecting more than anything else. And how am I going to convince them when I have problems too? This, matter of fact, leading my second marriage.
Projected in 4K.
Okay, so if we're going to say that, that's like we're on the football team and we're literally looking at the footage of a team that's been beating everybody else up in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Either you're gonna go out there with a defeated attitude of damn, fuck, ain't nothing we can do against this motherfucker. They're gonna just beat our ass, or we gonna actually try.
Don't forget, everybody deserves a trophy.
Listen,
Yeah.
guess what? I want that. I don't want the trophy. I want the goddamn ring. I
That's
want the highlight.
That's the culture that's being encouraged.
Pushed. Yeah.
You know. So how do you deal with that after they've been taught that for how long? About what? Let's say 13 years. Everybody deserves a trophy. How are you going to debunk 13 years of that kind of treatment?
You okay, so how would you debunk 13 years of that treatment?
On the spot too.
How would I?
And you
We ain't
see,
carrying our books around about this stuff, you know.
Be
That's
the
the great-
example. Be the example. I believe what the brother Dragon, he has a family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now Dragon has a family, and Dragon came from a hostile matriarchal background. Last time he told us the story, but he's still fighting to be in that damn home. That right there, him today is the example. Me today is the example. You today are the example. Any brother who's out here doing it, why aren't they looking at us as the example? Like shit,
Because they're looking at us as outliers.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay. Well, fuck.
That's the thing.
We're not the rule. We're the exception.
So that's the issue. So that's what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that they're right, but I can see where they're coming from. You know what I mean? Like my son is probably thinking the same way, seeing what his mother put me through. You know what I mean? So this is the stuff that we got to consider when we talk to them. So it can't be just straight talk. It can't be side talk either, but it can't just be like linear, because basically they already made up their mind like in 13 years. You know, so all of a sudden we come and give them the real, and it's like, you know, marry me,
right?
And then because it's almost just by mentioning the BMTs and the Gabs and the Dragons and the Seven, myself, that's like saying Oprah Winfrey, Jordan. Look at Jordan. Look at Oprah. Look at Obama. You know, just to prove that black people made it.
I hate when they write me off sometimes. And that really be hurting my feelings in the chat. I said, well, guys, what about, well, man, if you get with a woman, you're going to lose resources. I said, well, I own businesses and, man, BMT, you don't count. Shut your ass up. I'm like, oh, my God. They just wrote me off. Like, they do that to me every time, man. That shit be hurting my damn feelings, man. I wish I would stop doing that, man. Like, come on, man. Like, come on, man. I know. Now I say, damn, dude, y'all make it seem like we dead. Like we
that
still
is very hard though, man. When I hear what was his name, Ramir, and what's the other brother's name? AM1. He says the same stuff.
Yeah,
it's hard, man, to really talk to them when you don't again have anything to put in their hand. You know, because they're always using that stuff based on statistics and all that kind of stuff, rather than somebody's personal experience.
But you know, I see I've already had a way to cut down the statistic. I would say, and this is my retort. Statistics said you're supposed to be dead at 21. Statistics said that you, as a black man, are going to commit a crime. Statistics also say a lot of things, that black men are known to be predators at young ages. See all the statistics about us, all the shit that they used to write about us in the books. Statistics say that a black man can't swim. Remember back in the Navy, that's why they didn't have us out there in the water. Statistics say that you can't use a black soldier at nighttime because they can't see. Statistics say that majority of black homes are all on child support and welfare. And we know this ain't the truth. Majority actually, we're more so middle class. We're not poor. Majority of black families are middle class. But if we keep on pandering to one statistic, that's why I be saying when you use that one statistic, and I hit them with this. If you're going to say all black women cheat, make sure you put down the statistic that black men are the highest recipients of HIV and STDs and being down low. Put that statistic on the table also. When I said that shit, oh, BMT, I don't know about that shit. One dude just pulled it up. He said, oh my God, this man is right. We are. I'm like, oh, y'all don't want to pull up that statistic now. Y'all don't want to pull up that.
But also, it goes into what you want to believe.
Oh, so are we picking? Are we picking Bible verses now?
A lot of people are really they're picking. They're really picking and say, this what proves my point. Well, it says here in 1955, and you like, people are just not really getting it to be informed. They're just trying to use it to try to be right.
Yep.
And that's hurting us like big time. It's like you can't get anything out of it.
It's like we're putting out the fire and they're coming with the grease and they're just like, hey, I can help. And then they just throw it on there.
Yeah. Like my example with the shovel, digging a hole.
Uh-huh.
So you gotta, I hate to sound, I don't know if it's violent, but I'm just saying you gotta get rid of them people. And people that keep, being the one that's like keeping you back from doing the things you need. And the thing, and I want to really get more into that. It's the man keeping me down mockery. I really want to touch on that because I want to find out those people that's saying this.
Yeah, ever since I've been in this space, I haven't heard anyone.
Oh man, I can see to some channels now.
Again, I haven't seen it yet, so that's the thing, and I'm admitting to that.
The part that I'm trying to get to find out, because the narrative that I keep hearing it on mainly this, our circle, is the white man is keeping me from applying for jobs, or is keeping me from learning something that I can learn in my home. I want to hear all those things that people are trying to make mockery of. I want to hear the specifics because I have a feeling that some of those things are taken out of context and people are running with it. That's what I can't prove it though, but I want to hear the other side.
That makes sense.
Like I said, I love hearing that. I've heard that plenty of times. Just like I brought up about the STEM and different stuff, and I know that's when we had that talk about. Well, they want to see, and when you ask to see, then I'm gonna be like, okay, let's pull out some. And I don't. That's why I did a recording of a young man who did not look like this dude. Didn't look like nothing of a tech type. He had the dreads on. He had the dread braided. Like you thought he would just been some dude selling dope. And he was like, "Oh, you driving around all black plaza? Are you creeping out?" Like he thought somebody marking or doing something. I said, "No. I'm showcasing black businesses on my channel." And he was, "Oh, you that YouTuber nigga." I said, "I am that YouTube nigga. I thank you." And he was like, "Oh, hey, come in my shit, bro." He's like, "I can show you anything. I can do it." And I walked in there, and he sure enough was doing tech. Like, ain't no bullshit. Like he was putting together cell phones, like real time art. Like I was very much impressed. Like I'm like, wow, you really can't judge a book by its cover because you never know who you are entertaining. But he was like, I said, brother, I do apologize. You have a gift. He said, yeah, man, like I'm just trying to do this. And we know his daddy. His daddy is well known, but he's trying to go the opposite direction of showing that he can be a positive person, that he can make a difference. So
I want to have that conversation again about the black conservative personalities like your Larry Elders, Armstrong Williams, Michael Steele, what's his name, Blackwell. I want to, because the thing is, some of them have different degrees of their conservatism and their far right points. But I still couldn't believe that they were saying that Armstrong Williams is way more far right than a Larry Elder. I was waiting for them to give me some points about it, but they were just throwing some jabs, so to speak.
That really threw you off. Like, really?
No,
Really?
they didn't throw me off. I just had to come back on them.
Oh,
I thought you grew up by now, but I guess not.
you thought you saved your student?
Yeah, I thought he was going, but it's all good because I speak the Xenials language, to be honest.
Yeah, I was very well. I said, man, how? I said, this is most art doing some damn. What's that? Lean on me right now with damn Zardell. Like he all in this.
Part.
Yeah, I was like, I've never seen Zardell. Don't let him find out that you are pro-black. That right there, bro. What?
That's why I brought that up, man. It's like people keep changing the whole meaning of what pro-black is.
Right now, pro-black don't really have a good name right now.
Pro-black does not be sitting there smoking weed with a beanie hat, holding their nuts and calling people bitches and looking like Nipsey Hussle and all that kind of stuff. And then you're gonna go ahead and compare that person with a John Henry Clark or a Louis Farrakhan.
Boy, listen, hey,
come on, man.
Like I said, I've already caught enough rippers for talking about Nipsey Hussle, and then people are like, "Oh, you attacking Nipsey Hussle?" I said, "Listen, bro."
No, he's pro-black in a sense of, just joining in on the wave, but the whole what he represents, no.
Now this was my arc against it. This is why I said I had a problem with that narrative. But I said, listen, the area where he was at, and people who I know live there, that is a high gang area. Okay. You have a store in there, but it's not being robbed, it's not being attacked.
Mm-hmm.
So you're covered by the gang element.
Mm-hmm.
You have that protection.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me by your affiliation with them, that's the only reason why you're not being touched.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I'm being fair now, brother. I'm being fair. This is not me. So I'm like, wait. But what if I am not that type of person? What if I'm just a straight mark, a type of person that goes to school, do X, Y, Z? I can't exercise me trying to do something in that community like you can, because that would mean I would have to, step over a few skulls like that.
Well,
I'm not built like that to do
that. His thing is more like you kids don't try this at home or train professional.
That's then it's not pro-black then.
What I'm saying is that the thing is that like obviously the lifestyle that he came from, with the whole crip culture and all that kind of stuff, that wasn't pro-black, but he was making his way there. Mm-hmm. So the fact that he was making his way there doesn't mean that he made it. So when you start trying to put him with that label, they got to come up with another label for someone like him, because it's not Ivan Van Sertima, it ain't Huey P. Newton, it ain't none of these people. I would line these guys up with him.
They keep putting them in those pictures and stuff, and
that's all they have. Even Tupac, that's not pro-black. It ain't. Let alone. No, I take that back. Tupac was very pro-black. Very, 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 very pro-black. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but the thing is, I think people took a portion of what he represent as pro-black instead of the stuff that he did that was actually pro-black. The fact that FUBU was his first priority. Black schools. He went to my son's school, the same school where Nipsey Hussle's daughter went, and did a speech and gave money to that school. Tupac did. He did a lot of, a whole bunch of stuff for Black people and Latinos too, I found out. But he did a lot of things for Black people. So I think that's way more different than that German dude's example, because he just did one thing. Tupac did things like every every time he had a chance to do so, especially in Oakland. He took care of a lot of people in Oakland. I mean, hell, MC Hammer, pro-black, period. That kind of stuff. He was broke because he was pro-black.
Spending over $500,000 to $1 million a month over 200,000 employees, I believe, right?
Yeah, he
Yep.
lost all his money because he was pro-black. Not to say that it was good, but that's the stuff that we look at rather than someone just doing things just one thing or so. Like I said, if you want to go with the white person, because I didn't get to speak yesterday, if you want to go with a white person that's pro-black, look up John Brown.
Oh, I was reading up on that when you had me do that. Yeah.
That white man was pro-black.
Yep.
Period. Okay. Yep.
I gotta get in touch with this young boy again. I'm gonna actually show his store.
That's a boy?
Yeah, well, that's a young man. I know.
Braids?
Yeah. I know it's hard to believe. But yep, that is a young man. I would not have guessed. And literally, he's only 23 years old, and he's running his own mobile computer / cell phone business by himself. No help, no nothing. He took a good majority of his money and he's putting it to what he believes in, fixing cell phones, computers, and everything.
Now, when you bring this up on other panels, do you use this to show that the white man is not holding him down? Is that one of your angles?
I try to show that it is possible that, regardless of how you look or what you think, you can get out there and do it. Mind you, he's in a plaza. Look at it, Art. I mean, that's pretty professional for somebody his age to be having all that going on as a techie. The way how they will say is that you got to look a certain type of way or a certain type of look to do STEM or technology, but literally he has the there ain't no Indian man in the back, y'all. There ain't no Indian man in the back. Everything in there is done by him. Everything is done by him. I walked around. I was so surprised of just the professionalism that he was showcasing. This whole plaza right there is all black owned in the South. That is all. So I don't know if the white man is just being lazy, but majority of those businesses are black owned.
You know why it was so funny? It's the same reason why it's hard for us to try to convince a man that they should be married because of what BMT 7 and Gab and Art has as far as their lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Use an outlier to prove that the white man is not keeping you down.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody get the outlier card when we
Yes, sir. I do it for a living, BMT.
I'm just saying, man. It's like every time they say something, I literally go out there and say, okay, so explain this guy. Explain this. Explain that. Literally, that is every business there is black owned in a whole plaza. A little black mecca. Right there, that is every store I'm driving by is black owned for restaurants. That's a restaurant right there. She owns 2 restaurants. She owns 2 restaurants and one on Meals on Wheels. For some people who can't leave the house or they're too sick, she cooks for you and bring you the meal. Literally everything here is black owned. But I guess some people, well, why ain't it as good as the white man? Well, I mean, goddamn, man, like, why aren't y'all thankful for the stuff y'all do get? Right now, I got people in there. I got people in different buildings fixing up properties for people, trying to get things going. But I guess we don't see. And mind you, I did not know that young man was. I think he's the only black tech in that town.
Let me give you another suggestion.
Go ahead.
When you want to use that kind of footage in those conversations, I would use that more as inspiration more than a debunker.
You're right. I mean, I'm not trying to assault nobody or make nobody feel angry. You know what I'm saying, Art? But I want to show whoever's out there that y'all it can be done. We
Yeah.
do have those of us out here who are fighting, and trying. And I mean, this is a very successful young man. And God damn it, I keep tabs on him. He keeps tabs on me. Sometimes he'll ask me stuff. Sometimes I'll talk to him about some things. Like, but I'm very protective of certain brothers who are out there. I'm like, yo, man, don't give up. Regardless of what they keep telling you, that man is literally doing stuff that y'all would take to Best Buy and pay somebody $80 just to like crack it open. He's doing that for a lesser price. And I mean, I don't know. I'll be like, we have these young brothers out here. He didn't come from no silver lining, nice silver cradle background.
Yeah,
But
those kind of situations need to be promoted, of course.
yes, sir.
And I would always suggest to try to at least maybe encourage people to get in touch with this gentleman, and
Mhm.
then try to, you know, I wouldn't say prove, but yeah, exactly. Try to prove that it's possible, right?
Mhm.
So let me go ahead and end this live, you guys. I got so many
Right.
things to do. I ignored 3 calls just for the brotherhood. Any parting words or anything?
No, I'm good. I gotta go over to the next panel, and I'm going over to the next panel, support them. I actually even bought a T-shirt. O'Shea is now he's selling T-shirts. I bought a T-shirt when I found out he's selling T-shirts.
I gotta make my way to him so I can be on one of the shows one day.
He be waiting for you, man.
I'm
We
just
need
not. I heard somebody told me that he's asking, but I guess he's waiting for that maybe me to send him something. I want to because I'm gonna try to do some stuff for his Negro Manosphere website. So I'm gonna work on that. But yeah, I don't want to come in half. You know what? And plus, I'm not feeling them doing no rumbles. I'm not trying to do no rumbles.
No, they're not. They're not what they used to be back then. They used to be. There was the ones where it was just more so of some of the people that you have on those political talks on the Democratic and the conservative side.
Mm-hmm.
I used to see them on the panels, but now I don't see them up there anymore.
Yeah,
I think
they were good when I first checked them out.
I
Walk
love
into a
It's
rumble.
okay now. I just don't, it just get overdone with the ad hominems. So
he said y'all done fucked it up. Now I can't even.
I
I
walked
can't
into a rumble and I heard it's okay if you got to rob them, you got to kill the people, you got to kill them. And I was just like, yo, where am I at?
Lord have mercy.
so you guys, y'all be safe. Y'all be
Don't tell
good.
me if I sold 2 loads of dope. I'm like, oh Lord, I'm
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, Black Power, MFer. No,
Yep.
but I'm so I'm gonna go. So thanks everybody for coming through. And plus I got to use the restroom too. I got to roll out of here. So
All right, y'all.
I'm sitting here all day. And I've been all right. So you guys be good, and too many people to be giving shouts out to, but thank you guys for coming through and hit the likes on the way out. Peace.